Michael. Oh, Michael. Michael!
What's
Michael!
up?
Michael.
What up?
It's time for the podcast, Michael.
Yes.
It's time for the Rage Like podcast. I should start this out on a really high note and say, welcome back. Oh my God. I'm so excited. It's time for another Rage Like podcast here on Rage Like. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike. What number would this be?
This would be number, I think it's like, I could probably tell you.
I'm
it's
curious.
Like we're in the 440s, I think.
Are we?
This is 446.
Oh, shit.
Number 446.
446.
Lucky 446.
Now serving 446.
So, Michael.
What'd you do?
I did something last week.
Was it a good thing or a bad thing?
I went to the movie theater.
Okay.
For the first time in probably like 3 or 4 years, because I didn't like going to the movie theater before there was a global pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
But I went to the movie theater. I kind of got a bug in my butt. I was like, I'm worried that people are going to get fucking nuts with this Doctor Strange stuff. And I kind of want to I already had some of it spoiled for me.
Okay.
Unfriended some people on Facebook who were all coy boy, like, ooh, here's a thing. And it's like, yeah, I know what that is because I read comics. So thanks a lot. But I went and saw it, and I hate it. I hate the part of the podcast where I have to say
Where you didn't like something.
yeah. I walked
That
out
everyone
of it.
else, well, not everyone else liked. A lot of it's the most split I've seen a movie, a Marvel movie in a bit.
Yeah.
Not counting Eternals, but this is one that I feel that's split in a way that people really, really liked this movie, and people really, really hated this movie.
I didn't. Okay, I want to be really clear here. I didn't hate it. It's just that I walked out of the theater and I was, it was the Alamo. The theater gets out, everybody's leaving, right? And the people in the parking lot are just like, oh my God, can you believe that? Blah, 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 blah. Thing happened. Thing. Can you believe that thing was thing? And I was like, why don't I feel anything? Why do I feel like nothing walking out of this where I was like, that was acceptable? And so
That's fair, though.
I spent like 48 hours thinking about it, and because whenever I come on this show and I say that I'm not in love with a thing, people get all fucking up in their cups about it. Like they're just all up in my grill about like fart noise.
But the goo, Jeff.
But the fart noise, fart noise. You're stupid. And I'm like, I didn't insult you. I was like, I didn't care for this film. And they're just like, well, that means you suck. And I'm like, God damn it. I've been on the internet for 25 years and we're still doing this. So here's the thing.
It's worse now, to be honest.
Here's the thing. I like a lot of stuff. I thoroughly enjoy many things in this world. I'm watching Spy X Family and Better Call Saul.
Where you going with this?
I really liked Moon Knight. I thought the Moon Knight finale was great.
Good.
I really liked that. I started playing. We've got a story this week about Monster Hunter, and I realized you have to be at 7 stars to play the DLC.
Oh, yeah.
So I started playing Monster Hunter in 4K on my brand new PC at 120 hertz, and I'm just like, man, Monster Hunter is great. Monster Hunter Rise is fantastic.
Still blows my mind that happened.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Doctor Strange. Well, first off, you liked it, right? You said you liked it quite a bit, right?
I liked it quite a bit, but the main reason I liked it comes down to the fact that I am a Sam Raimi whore.
Right.
Because that movie is Sam Raimi as fuck in a lot of different ways. And so I was mostly giddy because every time something Sam Raimi shot happened.
Every time there was a rack zoom.
Yeah, every time there was a rack zoom or say a certain person shows up.
Right.
Or say a certain car shows up.
Or a certain type of special effect was applied to somebody.
When certain things happen, then you're like, I know who would make such a thing.
Right.
I was like, I am pleased with this. But if you told me to be like, well, what did you think of the story? I'd be like, well, it happened. Right. That's really what it comes down to, because the story is kind of not great, to be honest.
It's okay. So here are the things.
It's super straightforward is the main thing.
Here are the things that bothered me in no particular order.
Go for it.
Okay. So first off, and I meant to say this in the list of things that I liked. I've been feeling like a fucking crazy person because I'm like, Shang-Chi did nothing for me. I thought Spider-Man was okay, but I thought Spider-Verse did that concept better. Black Widow, I kind of
It's happened.
You know, like
and the Turtles are like that in my head.
Eternals, I felt like was at least internally coherent. Like it might have been a little dull, but
it's real long is the only issue with it.
At least it was just like a self-contained story as opposed to
that's true.
A lot of this kind of like tying into the greater storyverse. So I went back and I was like, am I crazy? Am I just been inside and I'm depressed? And so I went back and I watched just like the last hour of the original Doctor Strange. And I was like, no, because I think the original Doctor Strange is in like my top 5 Marvel movies. I love the original Doctor Strange.
It has one of the best third acts of all of the MCU films.
I like the visuals are very unique. I like the story. I like the fact there's just a lot of people talking about how they feel about stuff and their philosophy about the world as opposed to big laser fights, you know. Looking at you, WandaVision finale. And I love Scott Derrickson and Cargill's way of is kind of like it's kind of dry. It's very like dry and crisp, and like it has a different feel to me than a lot of the other MCU stuff.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, it's like I kind of get what they were going for by bringing in Sam Raimi, but in some ways, I'm like, I don't think Sam Raimi is the person to direct Doctor Strange if you are looking to continue the tone of the first Doctor Strange, because it's like an entirely different feel. It's like weird and over the top, and it's always cranked up to 11, and like in this very strange way that the original was a lot more like subdued.
My biggest issue with it is the fact that when Sam gets to do that, it's the best. The movie's the best when he writes it too.
Yeah,
but that's the issue is he didn't write this one at all.
He didn't. Okay, I didn't know that.
He's like a gun for hire kind of thing.
Okay,
that's not a James Gunn pun. But he was a guy they hired to be like, well, he does horror stuff, and we want this to be something horror related, but we already have a script,
right?
And then they just went from there. And not only that, WandaVision wasn't done yet while he was making the movie.
See, okay, that's another thing that kind of is weird to me is like the end of WandaVision is, I guess, supposed to like set up for what. Sorry, that's got to be all vague. People who have seen it know what we're talking about. I'm trying to be vague enough.
It does set it up, but not really as well as you would like it to.
But then, like where we start in Doctor Strange, I'm like, did I miss season 2 of WandaVision where we went from the themes of WandaVision to what's happening now? Because it seems like there was a kind of an extreme shift that occurred that kind of disregards a lot of the things that were like the tonal core of WandaVision.
I would argue
like it's thrown out the window
without saying anything, I guess, about what's going on. I could argue how it makes sense. The issue is that the reason I have that ability is because like the comic book part of my brain is willing to make up shit.
Right.
Because that's the thing. That's the issue with the movies in general, are the MCU movies, and even some of the DC ones in general.
Yeah.
Is that there's not the in between parts where Peter Parker is trying to get a job and he's stopped and he can't get the job because a robber happened or something.
Right.
It's always the Revenge of the Sinister Six fucking event story.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next giant fucking Venom-ass event story, and like so forth and so forth. And so that's the issue with these movies is there isn't anything in between that could be like this is what happened in between WandaVision and this point for it to make sense.
Well, you would think that would be WandaVision about what happened between Endgame and Doctor Strange.
You think it would, but again, like I said, they didn't even let him fucking like make the movie after the thing was done.
Right.
So they gave him like here's some stuff that would affect you guys, and that's all they were given. So it's like, well, we can make some stuff off of this, which is why you could connect the dots pretty easily, but the leaps in logic have to come from a Deus, not even Deus Ex Machina, but a specific item in the movie, and you just have to be like, well, the item did it,
right?
Kind of thing. Like it's the fucking Simpsons thing.
Yeah.
Well, a wizard did it,
right?
Except almost literally.
Also, there's the other thing that I thought is,
but I get it.
There's a whole zig. There's a zig that happens in the middle of the movie that becomes like this new secondary plot line that happens.
Yes.
And when I thought about it, I was like, that was just useless.
I both love and hate that sequence.
It has nothing to do with the main plot line.
The plot, so hard.
Yeah,
to
be like, look how cool this is.
Exactly. And my comic book brain nerd was like, well, this is pretty cool. Only to be like, oh wait,
right.
What I had to think
and
about
like
it.
Again, trying to be a vague coy boy here, so I don't spoil anything, which I think we've done a good job for.
We've done a pretty decent job. We haven't said any of the reasons why.
Yeah, there is another movie. There are other movies in the MCU that have a similar thing, but those movies tied that event into their main storyline. Like where the movie goes in the middle, where it has this zag over into this other thing, feels more like oh, how cool is that? Not necessarily like, oh, well, that makes the whole story make more sense.
Well, it's the Iron Man 2 thing. It's what in Iron Man 2 stops itself in the middle to be like, Avengers,
Right.
And Sam Jackson's here, and he's like, Avengers stuff, and you're like, well, I don't fucking care about this right now.
Right.
I want to know what's going on with Tony and his fucking
I want more
shit.
Justin Hammer, you coward!
Exactly. They're like, but what if we set up a bunch of shit you don't care about right now because we didn't care at that point?
Yeah.
This was very early on.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay, like you could have saved that for a later date.
I just think, like here maybe this is the best way to sum things up. And the last time I tried to do this, I
still like the sequence that we're talking about a lot, but it's still, if you removed it, it would change nothing.
I'm going to try to put this back into. I'm going to revert. I'm going to make this point very clear.
Let's get time stone this shit.
The way that I should have done when I was talking about the Batman. Here is something that is indicative of my problem with Doctor Strange. In the first Doctor Strange, the ending, everybody, when you talk to an MCU fan and you say, Dormammu, I've come to bargain, everybody's like, I fucking get that shit.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time coming up with a line from Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness in the ending. Like, that was so iconic, the scene with Dormammu and the kind of Doctor Who time trap thing that happened at the end. Whereas, like, the stuff that happened at the end of Multiverse of Madness, like, it just wasn't, I didn't think it was quite as good as that. So.
You can't really, well, that's yeah, again, that comes down to exactly what I mean, is that I love the third act to Doctor Strange 1 so much.
Yeah.
Because I had forgotten how great of an act it is. Because there's so many acts of those movies where they're like, and then there was a giant fight.
Right.
And this one, it was like, well, I'm going to use my brain and fuck with this dude.
Well, yeah.
And it's such an amazing moment, and it's so memorable because of it.
Yeah.
Whereas when this movie happens, I'm not even going to say, I can't say that what happens outside of MacGuffin. And then it's like, but it's such a random MacGuffin that's not really set up very well, other than, hey, do the thing, and then they just do the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what about, like, there's no setup to that. It's like, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like, there's one piece of setup to it, and that's it, and that doesn't really feel like good setup.
It's kind of this thing. I mean, I've had this problem with other Marvel movies and shows, honestly. Like, Shang-Chi was one where I got all, like, bent out of shape about the third act and how, like, it didn't fit together for me very well.
It doesn't set up the thing very well.
You know, Black Widow's third act, where it's like, okay, now the fucking Russian guy is going to make all the brainwashed girls kill all the leaders in the world, and then question mark profit, and oh, you can't hit me because of my smell. And it's like, where did any of this fucking come from?
That movie frustrates me because it expects you to be like, how are they going to get out of this? It's like, well, I know they are, because this is before Infinity War.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know exactly what's supposed to happen.
I don't know. I mean, like, again, I think that if you go back to some, and a lot of it is like, I get it. It's harder to do sequels than it is to do origin stories.
Yes.
Origin stories are very easy because you've got all the time in the world to do setting up and who are the characters.
Well, they can be easy if done correctly. They can also be fucked up very easily.
I just feel like this one also, and some of it is a Sam Raimi-ness, some of it is the weird scriptiness, some of it is just probably the way that it was assembled in pieces that had
a lot of
be
reshoots
forced together. Yeah, is that like when I think of Doctor Strange, the movie, and then I think of Doctor Strange in Thor Ragnarok, and then I think of Doctor Strange in Infinity War and Endgame and Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes.
No Way Home.
That's the last one at least.
Like, I feel like all of that Doctor Strange has a very similar vibe to it, and that this one has a very different vibe to it.
I think it was intentional is the only thing I can say about that, though.
I kind of wish, I don't know why, I've never asked, and I don't hang out with Cargill, but I don't know why Scott Derrickson and Cargill didn't do this one, but I feel like if it had just tonally matched a little bit better to what the other stuff we've seen, it might have been a little different. Also, I feel like there should have I have this problem all the time. They should have fully removed one thing from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Like any of the A plot, B plot, sub story, side characters, any of that stuff. Like if you would have pulled one person out of that, then you would have been able to spend more of the runtime like exploring the actual things that were happening with the characters, as opposed to just like, come on, we gotta do the thing, we gotta do the next thing, we gotta do this thing, now we gotta do this thing, now we gotta go to here, now we gotta do this thing, and it's like, and then it's like, here, quick, here's your fucking emotional conclusion, and I'm just like, okay, I guess, sure, sure, my hands are full, all
get
right,
out of here.
Okay, all right, fine, I'm
okay,
leaving.
Cool. Can I get one more thing though? Yeah, here you go. Okay, cool.
But yeah, I wanted to like it. I went to the movie theater.
You did.
I went to the fucking
Which
movie
is
theater.
pretty amazing. He hasn't said that in a very long time, guys.
So,
but here's the last thing I'll say about it, which is that I did like the second fucking end stinger because I like that sort of thing. End of story.
Oh, I didn't dislike the second end stinger.
Well, a lot of the internet's like kind of being shitty about it, so.
I waited all the way to the end of the credits for that.
And I said, hell yeah. I was so excited. So fucking excited when it happened. I was like, hell yeah. Give me more. Don't turn away. Give me more.
I think that there are a lot of properties that I think Sam Raimi would have been better used as the director of a new property that wasn't as interconnected to the existing MCU.
I would have thought it would have been great to just have him do fucking No Way Home.
Like the way that Benson and Moorhead did the episodes of Moon Knight, right? Those guys that did like the Spring and the Endless and those like weird indie horror movies, and they came in as like guest directors for a few Moon Knight episodes. And it's like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Well, even Cargill and Derrickson, they both made that horror film.
Yeah,
only to like, let's have you make this thing. I think the only person who's ever pulled it off, who as a first timer, or not first timer, but first timer in the MCU in a second movie, was the Russos. They're the only ones who pulled that shit off.
Yeah, maybe Shane Black in Iron Man 3, like kind of pulling it back.
I love Iron Man 3, but you have a hard time convincing the rest of the internet of that.
I love Iron Man 3 as well.
I think Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man film. Fight me.
Well, I'm not going to fight you on that.
I'm telling the internet, not you.
Okay, but I'll tell you what the internet.
Gene agrees with me, and he's the biggest Iron Man fan I know.
Okay. All right, I've completely lost what I was going to say.
Sorry. Iron Man 3.
Enough Iron Man. Enough MCU talk.
Yes.
News. We have a lot of news, and so we shouldn't have gone on for 15 minutes.
That's our fault.
That's our bad. I apologize. That one's on old Jeff from Rage Light.
Well, we had a lot to say without saying anything.
If there were more days in the week, I feel like it would have been fine to have like a 2-hour spoiler cast. And to be honest, I kind of might talk with you at some point about like doing that, because I feel like I really would like to talk about some of this stuff without having to dance around.
That's fair.
But
we'll come up eventually.
Anyway, we had an Indie World this week. Nintendo Indie World.
We did. I didn't see this, though.
Oh, boy.
I was working.
We actually had 3 things. We had an Indie World. We had a Gotham Knights presentation.
I did watch the Gotham Knights one, though.
And Monster Hunter Sunbreak stuff. So we've got 3 whole things. To be honest,
the internet wouldn't stop talking about the Gotham Knights one, though. So
the Indie World Showcase, I always say, like, oh, it's going to be fast. But it is kind of going to be fast because there's just a lot of, like...
Anything interesting?
Some stuff. So, Ooblets is coming to the Switch, which is good. Ooblets, I feel like, is a perfect Switch game because it's
a super perfect Switch game.
Monster Hunter.
Did the developer say anything to piss anybody off?
Nope. Monster Hunter meets Pokemon with dance battles and twee ass graphics and aesthetic.
If people are wondering what I meant by that joke, there's an old podcast that probably has that.
Oh yeah, because they went to the Epic Game Store and people got mad at them, and then they basically came back at people, and it was a whole fucking thing.
They're like, fuck you, we got our money.
Yeah. So
Ooblets.
yeah, I mean, but Ooblets is a great thing for Switch, right? It's Pokemon and Animal Crossing together.
Also, it's adorable as hell.
Yeah, it is. Also, the fact that the little Ooblets have dance battles with each other is fucking great, and you can put tiny hats and shit on them now, and it's kind of amazing.
That is
adorable.
pretty awesome.
And how could you not like?
It's very popular.
How could you not like Ooblets? I hope that they do well, Glumberland. Let's see. From there, we got a trailer for this thing called Bartoa Last Heaven. Batora Lost Haven.
You were close. You were close. You fused some stuff together there.
Yeah, this appears to be just like kind of a top-down action RPG, but with some like puzzle elements. And there's this kind of like psychic, non-psychic power switch thing.
Okay.
This is a pretty standard thing, right? Like you can watch a trailer for this and get a good feeling of exactly how it's going to play.
There's a lot of top-down RPG-ish games like this.
Yeah, and then it's obviously got
that Diablo look. I'm saying Diablo.
Oh, the old Diablo.
Diablo.
I can't wait for Diablo Immortal.
On the phone or whatever?
Yes. Oh, no, on PC now, remember?
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
No. Phone game now is that horrible Warcraft thing that they announced last week.
That's true, yeah. And don't they have phones, they said?
Yes.
They didn't, but I assume they did.
This is coming out in the fall. This is also coming from Team 17. This is one of those ones where I'm like, I'm sure that there is a specific type of person that is in the pocket for this. I've played
100%.
so many of these types of games that I need a little bit more. Like, I will play a generic 2D side-scroller, no problem. But when it comes to a generic top-down ARPG, I'm like, is it better than Darksiders Genesis? Because Darksiders Genesis was fucking great.
It was really good. And there's a lot of these lately.
Yeah. Let's see. From there,
not shitting on them.
we got an announcement that this game called Electhead is coming to the Switch, which is like this guy made this as his like senior thesis, and it's basically like this little, and then developed it into a full game. And it's basically like a kind of a puzzle adventure game, side-scroll and pixel-based, where you've got this little robot that, like, when he touches a part of the level, it electrifies it and turns on various, like, traps and contraptions.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then he can also pop his head off, like shoot his head in a direction to remotely activate a thing, but he has to get back to his head in 10 seconds or else he blows up.
Oh, wow.
So it's
that's
really
actually kind of cool.
Yeah. It's a real, like, basic concept. I feel like it reminds me a little bit of Chibi Robo almost.
I could see that. The design's kind of similar too.
Yeah, but it looks like a cute little puzzle game. I mean, like, again, you know, pixel based 2D. It looks very sharp, very clean. So yeah. Let's
Pretty
see.
creative too with the stuff it shows.
Yeah. From there, we got this game that called Soundfall that actually came out on the day that this on the 11th when this came out, and it's on all the platforms. It's on PC and I think it's on some of the consoles, other consoles as well. But it's like this kind of top-down action, looks like a twin stick shooter that is all, you can't hear it because I got the sound turned down, but it's all like based on the rhythm. So there's like a little rhythm indicator at the bottom where you pick like a level and you pick a song, and then if you attack like kind of on the beat, you build up like a combo bonus.
I'm so bad at shit like that.
Oh yeah, me too.
I love it, but I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, like that Hyrule.
What the fuck is it called?
Yeah,
Beat of the Necromancer, something like that.
Well, Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Crypt of the Necrodancer. That's what it was. Because there's this other one in the actual one.
Yeah, this also appears like it might have some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of randomly generated or / roguelike elements.
There's also there's a lot of VR games like that too.
Yeah, there's one that's like a shooter.
That
like
one I love, but
shooter.
I can never fucking do it to the beat.
Yeah, I have a hard time with it as well.
Scary.
But yeah, I mean, you know, Symphonia, it seems like it's all right. Like, again, you know, I feel like I've talked about this a few times in the past on the podcast, Michael, but like sometimes I feel like we've reached a point where just like even just competent and like fairly good is not enough anymore, considering the just incredibly big number of games that are coming out every single goddamn week of your life.
There's so many games out there, guys.
Unless you have just like, unless this is just like you're completely in the pocket for whatever this is, I feel like this is fine, but I've already got like a backlog of, you know, games, like highly rated, well reviewed, like great games to play.
My backlog is huge, guys. Elden Ring is going to be paused for a bit with my next game.
What? Oh, that Evil Dead game.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It turns out a bunch of people I know have bought it. So
you were doing so well, though.
So
you're doing so well in Elden Ring.
I am, but I need to play this game when people are playing it.
No, I get that. People are going to be playing. We're going to talk about Elden Ring later.
Yeah, we'll talk about Elden Ring later.
So yeah, that's Soundfall. Let's see. From there, we got a card game called Wild Frost. That's just like a. It's just like a card game. It's just like some kind of like.
Do you like them card game peoples?
Like
then you'll play this game.
Some kind of roguelike card game, which again looks fine. Probably great for like Slay the Spire fans, or
it's got a nice art design though.
Yeah, or Monster Train is another one that's like a roguelike card game.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are all pretty good. I don't think you and I played. But that's also Chucklefish, which is pretty good.
So
they're
nice.
Yep. totally accurate battle simulator is coming to the Switch. Like the old tabs, like the blue guys and the red guys with the silly physics.
The OG one.
Yeah, like way back in the old days.
Started it all.
Like I feel like Jason and I played this, or like Grant and I played this like a million years ago. Or John and I played this.
Yeah, it was been around for a very long time at this point.
Early access. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that's coming, but I can see it being pretty fun on the Switch.
It's a very popular game.
It's just fucking goofy. It's just goofy shit, right?
Exactly. It was every fucking streamer's dream for a bit.
Yeah. I did notice that I don't know if this was a feature. I mean, I think John and I played this game when it was in early access on the Super Awesome Video Game Show. And then I never booted it back up ever again. But like they show in the trailer that you can like create your own characters and like put different attributes and stuff on.
That's from some of the newest stuff, because they had been updating it a lot.
Yeah.
And every now and then a Let's Player that I watch ends up playing one of the newer ones.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to go back and check it out at some point.
You can do it on the Switch.
Yeah.
However it comes on Switch.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so Totally Accurate Battle Simulator is coming this summer. From there, okay, this is the one that is all up in my business. You know how I was just talking shit about top-down ARPGs, where I'm like, I don't know. Okay, pixel-based side-scroller Metroidvania.
Well, it's a side-scroller. You did say that you love side-scrollers.
Called Gunbrella, that is being published by Devolver Digital. That's like a little cowboy guy that also has a gun that turns into an umbrella and has to run around and shoot people and solve puzzles and quests, and it's all pixel-based, and it looks goddamn delightful, and exactly like the sort of thing that I would end up spending a whole weekend just playing.
This looks awesome.
Yeah.
This looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks really, really cool. There's a lot of like cool. There's also some kind of weird.
I love that it's called Gunbrella.
It's kind of weird stuff.
It's literally a gunbrella.
It's by Doinksoft. Oh, who are the people who made Gato Roboto?
Oh, sure, really?
Yes, that's what I was trying to remember.
Step aside, Gunblade. The Gunbrella's here.
That's right.
Fuck you, Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, I like the idea that Devolver Digital hands out cash for people to be like, what kind of dumb shit do you want to do? Yeah, that sounds cool.
That sounds awesome. Let's do this shit.
Have some money. Because, yeah, it looks like, I mean, again, I've been playing a lot of Rogue Legacy 2, and this is just like right in the same pocket as that of like.
I'm a big fan of these types of games. The side scroller, just like fun time.
It's really easy to get into. You remember we played the Mighty Goose? Like,
yeah,
Mighty
that
Goose?
game was fucking awesome. Hell, we even really like that bunny one. The fist one.
Oh yeah, I almost beat that game, and then I got obsessed with 100%ing it. I think I didn't.
Which happens, yeah.
So
I'm a big fan of games like this.
Yeah,
I really am.
2023 for Gunbrella. From there, we got we got the news that We Are OFK is coming to Switch.
Oh, okay.
Which, if anybody has been paying attention, I actually really like the music from this, but it's kind of looks like a very like it's like a bunch of young people that are all trying to figure out how to become musicians in LA with their feelings and stuff, and it's like very much seems like it's catering towards like early 20s people today.
Oh, 100%. It's also trying to get the Life is Strange like fan people's kind of idea. And I'm sure the soundtrack of this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'm going to be like, I'm okay. I don't really need to play this.
I really liked the song that they put out that was like kind of the premiere.
Its first announcement trailer was really funny though.
Yeah.
With the guy doing the announcing.
Yeah.
Pretending it was something else.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, we've got plenty of information about this.
I'm sure people are going to love this shit, though.
Is coming to Switch.
It's going to be one of those indie darlings.
Probably.
I hope for them, so their sake it is. I don't mean that as a threat. I mean that as an I hope for the best.
From there, we got a game called Silt, which is like an underwater kind of adventure game that's all hand-drawn. It appears one of the things in this is that you can like take control of like the different fishes and use them kind of.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very like kind of limbo-y, like underwater limbo.
Yeah, especially with some of the designs for some of the creatures they're running into.
Yeah,
as well as just like the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, whole thing looks all right. I've always been there's been a few kind of going underwater games that I feel like I should have played over the last few years, but didn't.
It's become a very popular genre.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got the announcement that Mini Motorways is coming to the Switch.
Oh, wow.
Which, if you all don't remember, I think it might have been a Patreon video that Amanda and I did where it was like, it's like a puzzle game where you have to, it just keeps like putting like houses down and then you have to keep building roads and like managing the traffic to keep things together. And then they have like certain types of metros that are based on certain cities where you have to kind of untangle the spaghetti roads.
Yeah.
You build like overpasses and stuff. It's a very chill game. It's very like, you know, just very like, I don't know, man. Just
the
do
city
whatever.
planner's dream.
Yeah. Yeah. People who are just like, you know, the best part of SimCity is when I get to put the roads.
Yeah, that's actually kind of all the game is.
Roads.
You get to see little cars drive.
Yep.
You can even fuck it up if you want to on purpose. It's all up to you.
And
Probably won't be as violent, but yes.
That was also another one that came out immediately. From there, we saw Wayward Strand, which is an Australian. Okay, what is this? What's the best way to describe this? It's like a hospital on a boat, and you're like a little kid, like a little girl that's there, like visiting like her grandma or something, and then you walk around and like find out the stories of the different people that live in there. Because you're
It's kind of fun.
nosy fuck.
What else are you going to do on a boat? There's open ocean everywhere, Jeff. Where am I going to go?
I mean, you know, you can play shuffleboard. I'm sure they've got shuffleboard somewhere up there. It's very strange. This is one of those ones.
Also,
where
why
I'm
is
just
it on a
like,
boat? Are they afraid the old people are going to like run off or revolt or something?
I think it's on a boat. Let's see. Wayward Strand, narrative adventure game about a floating hospital. Yes,
It's clearly a prison, Jeff.
It may not be on a boat, but it's definitely like
It's Arkham Asylum, and the little girl just doesn't know it.
Come on, Michael. It's the raft, obviously.
It's both.
Yeah, I don't know. This game looks like a little too twee for my taste.
It looks super twee, but it looks relaxing at least.
It's just like, you know what game on a boat I like is that Overboard game where you got to try to figure out how to get away with murdering
That
your
game was
husband.
amazing. I loved watching you and Tessa play that
That game
game.
ruled. I actually went and played every ending to that game.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it only takes like 3 or 4 hours to
That's
like
true.
suss out the entire game, so you
Yeah.
can like kill
Plus
it in an afternoon.
There's like guides and stuff now.
Yeah. So yeah, we got another trailer for Cult of the Lamb.
I forgot about this thing.
Yeah, which Devolver's putting out, which is like a top-down. You play as this lamb that gets rescued from being slaughtered, and then you have to create a cult. And so there's kind of like an action element. It kind of reminds me of Nobody Saves the World in a way.
I can see that, yeah.
Kind of top-down, cartoony, and you have to do some like Farmville shit to keep your cultists alive, but then also there's some action stuff going on. I don't know. Again, I think that
A lot of good stuff.
my penchant for side-scrolling as opposed to top-down is probably showing through. Where I'm like, I don't know.
I like the idea of it, but it looks like it's a time consumer.
Yeah. This was probably the biggest one. This is a game called Another Crab's Treasure. This is being made by the studio that made what did they make? Hold on, let me see. Aggro Crab, which made
Seems they put themselves in a hole there, didn't they?
Going Under. Remember that? Where it was a roguelike where you were in an office.
Oh.
And you had to use a bunch of office equipment to like fight drones and stuff like that.
I forgot about that.
I think
Yeah.
Amanda and I also played that. And the devs literally came out and they were like, so we tried to make this Going Under game and it didn't make us millionaires. So now we're going to cash in. We're making a Dark Souls style game where you play as a crab that has to fight other crabs and shit with Dark Souls combat. And also you get to put different shells on your back. Like when you find like cans and stuff in the world, you like put it on your back like a shell, and then it gives you some defense for when you get hit by the other crabs.
I appreciate the straightforwardness of all that.
Yeah.
And I love its aesthetic.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. This is one that I think I'm sure I don't.
That intro for that one crab was really cool.
What's that?
The one that would pull the fucking chopsticks out of the sheath like a sword.
Samurai crab.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think this is coming to multiple consoles. I need to check on that. But like I do think that like a lot of games that are 3D, this looks a little rough even in the screenshots on the Switch. So I'd like to play it in like 4K if possible.
I appreciate it being a 3D Souls-like because there's so many fucking 2D ones out there.
Oh yeah.
It's nice to see one that's actually like a 3D game again.
Yeah. I don't know if this is. It's funny because, like I said, we're going to get to this later. But like, I don't know if it's a good time to try to put out a Souls style game.
Not really.
When like Elden Ring is still like selling like gangbusters, and it's like you're going up against the king at this point.
Well,
like,
this is next year. They got time.
That's true. That is.
They're not going straight up at the king. They probably almost thought about it and then saw the news and they're like, nope, don't fucking do that.
Yeah. From there we had a montage, indie montage, a one-shot World Machine Edition, which is like some kind of adventure game. Gibbon Beyond the Trees, which appears to be a monkey swinging game. I forgot this came out. I need to definitely put this on the list of things to play because I like me a good monkey game.
I'm such a nerd that I heard Gibbon. My first thought was the Spider-Man villain named the Gibbon.
The Gibbon. Idol Manager,
character.
which appears to just be some fucking exactly what it says.
That's
in the
exactly
box.
what it sounds like. Yeah. It's like Football Manager, but with idols.
Card Shark, which is that game that's been in development for a long ass time. That's about cheating at cards, like in Victorian times.
Oh, okay, I forgot about that.
That Devolver Digital is publishing. That actually got a demo.
Well, Curse to Golf.
Curse
that was
to
that
Golf.
game that we.
Yep, from Thunderful, who actually put out another game that Amanda and I played this week. That was so hard to look at that we had to stop playing it. But
That sounds right.
Curse to Golf looks great. I really want to play Curse to Golf, but apparently I fucking love golf. I don't know why.
I don't know. I don't get it.
I
either,
don't
guys.
know why.
Turns out he loves golf games.
No, but I like that golf anime too. I'm watching golf anime,
Yeah,
man.
but you don't
Like,
golf.
But I don't want to golf. I don't even want to mini golf.
That's what I mean.
I want nothing to do with
it. It's weird that you like golf outside of all of that
I don't
stuff.
know. It's just so fucking strange.
Do you like Tin Cup? Is that your favorite Kevin Costner film?
You know what I like about golf is that it's slow enough that it's like it's very deliberate, right? Like
That's true.
Most sports, it's like it's all like going back and forth with teams and shit. Whereas golf, it's just like, when you watch golf on television or the internet or whatever, it's like everybody has to be fucking quiet. Even the announcer, who the guy can't hear, has to be really, really quiet. He's like, it's the eighth hole. Nobody's like, here comes the guy, Tiger Woods on the 18th hole. Oh shit, you guys! Like, there's
What are your thoughts on Happy Gilmore, Jeff?
I like a lot of Adam Sandler's movies, and especially like there was a point where I didn't stop liking them until like after way past Little Nicky, where everybody was like, Little Nicky was garbage and the worst, and I was like, it was goofy and stupid, but I kind of liked it.
I stopped when the Grown Ups movies were happening.
I liked Mr. Deeds.
I actually did too. That's the thing.
I never watched Big Daddy.
I like Big Daddy a lot. Fun fact: Big Daddy was written by the guy who made Psych.
Oh, okay.
No, that was his first movie.
But yeah, I don't totally hate Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
and
Grown Ups was my point where I'm like, I'm done. I'm good.
I don't watch those because like if Grown Ups, if you told me the plot of Grown Ups and it had anybody except for like fucking Kate Blanchett and Anthony Hopkins as the leads, I wouldn't watch it. Like if you were like,
That's true.
Here's an actor that you really like that made a movie about a bunch of grown men who go do stupid shit, and I'm just like, I didn't watch Road Hogs.
A lot of people didn't, luckily.
Or any of that stuff. There's a whole genre of like set in the modern day stand-up comic gets into a wacky situation where I'm like, I'm good. That's all right. That's cool with me. You guys have
I'm actually
fun?
interested in his new movie, to be honest.
What's that?
It's actually looks like a serious movie where he plays like a basketball scout.
Oh.
And he's like putting everything on the line for this like one guy that he finds.
And then everybody hyped Uncut Gems to the moon. And I watched it and I was like, this is fine, you guys, but like what the fuck?
I like that movie a lot. It's very tense, but yeah.
Also,
It's not as good as Good Times.
I have a hard time with characters that have like movies with detestable main characters. Where it's like,
that's
you're
fair.
not supposed to like him, and I'm like, but I fucking hate him. Like
That's completely fair.
He sucks so bad.
That definitely does not help the enjoyment of that film.
And he won't if he just shut up for a minute, he'd be alive and rich, but he won't shut his fucking mouth.
No.
And so
So things happen to Adam Sandler.
Also, if you come at me with spoilers for Uncut Gems, that is your fault.
That movie came out a very long time ago.
I'm not going to be
It's also on
shamed.
Netflix. Also, we didn't actually say what the ending is.
Yeah.
So you don't know what happened to him.
It was the implication. It was my implication.
You didn't have to add it.
A guidebook for Babel is some kind of like adventure game with weird art style and like hand-drawn stuff. And then Opus Echo Star Song came out on the Switch. The one that I was super excited about, and then it was like a million talkings. But like
What was the thing we kept saying? Because it was the name of the energy source. And we couldn't. We was like Smurf.
Oh,
that we ended up doing so often. I don't even remember anymore.
But look at the trailer for this.
It's
like,
so choppy.
But even when you look at what's happening in the trailer, it looks like it's like action. There's like spaceships getting shot at. There's people like running upstairs or whatever. And then we played it. And it was like, hey, you want to learn about the history of this world and haggle in the market? And I'm like,
so much, guys.
Not really.
Little witches or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, space witches or something.
I forgot. Yeah, there was like the name of the thing.
Something happened.
But they said it so often we couldn't get over how fucking annoying it was that they said it so often. If I remember, our closing statements was us just saying it over and over again.
That sounds about right. And that was the Indie World Showcase. So, I mean, like, hey man, good stuff. Indie games on the Switch. Great. That's
good times, guys.
Nintendo's
been really good about letting indie guys on there. So to the point where there's some games on there, they're like, why is this a thing?
Yeah.
You showed me that masturbating in the car game that they added to the marketplace at one point.
What?
I'm pretty sure you're the one who showed it to me.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah, it's a game where like you have to masturbate in the back of the car without the guy noticing or some shit.
I don't remember that part.
But it doesn't show like his dick or something. It's like a smiley face thing. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Okay. Somebody showed that to me and they're like, "This is going to be on Nintendo," and I'm like, "What the actual fuck?"
That's bizarre.
Look it up, guys. I don't remember the name of it, but you'll find it pretty easily. I'm pretty sure you're the one who showed it to me.
I did. Sounds like a thing I would do, Michael, but I don't know. I can't remember anything.
I'm amazed we never played it for the channel.
Memory of an ant. So
shit was crazy, guys.
But we're not done with showcases just yet because we also had a showcase for Monster Hunter Rise.
Sunbreak.
Yes, which showed off a few things.
That's cool.
There's like they showed off kind of the main well, here, let me bring up the thing because I'll never remember the name of fucking Monster Hunter, guys. It's playing it right now. Malzeno.
That's actually the easiest name they've had in quite some time.
Yeah. Malzeno, who's like the big dragon that apparently has like
he's a bad dude. It's basically the name.
It's a vampire. He's a vampire. Like he lets off these little butterflies, and if they get on your character, they'll like suck your life away. And if you die, apparently like in multiplayer, like if one person gets knocked out by the little blood suck, that it makes that guy even stronger.
That's amazing. I kind of love that.
Like somebody told me that the whole thing is that the bad guys in this are based on like monster. It was you, right? It had to be you. Or based on like monsters.
What was the thing I said?
Where it's like one of them is like a Frankenstein or like a Wolfman or something.
I did not. I'm definitely not the one who said that.
Okay, all right.
But whoever said that, good for you, because I didn't know anything about this.
Because there's like the whole thing with the vampire clothes that you get. Like the amiibos look like fucking Draculas. Like
that's pretty fucking cool. I kind of love that idea though.
Yeah,
I didn't know it. I haven't been paying attention to this to be honest. I probably would have found that out if I read it or something.
This what is the new yeah, anyway, they showed off some of the monsters.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on in
They showed a lot of some of the new monsters that they're bringing back. Mechanically, they talked about a few different things. They talked about actually this is something that I didn't realize, or that I
look at that fucker.
Didn't realize. You could switch, you can have two different skill sets and switch between them on the fly.
That's good.
As you go through the game, which is pretty cool.
Power Ranger straight up.
Yep. Yeah, it's that guy. He's like green and he's got like a big flat head, and he's kind of like a Frankenstein. He's like a
Frankenstein
big monkey.
He's like a fusion of a couple monsters that I've seen in the past.
Yeah. You'll be able to one of the things that they talked about that now I'm playing back through the game is just like I really wish it was implemented right now is you'll be able to run up walls just by running at the wall instead of having to use a wire bug to like start the wall run.
Oh, is that not already a thing?
No, okay. Apparently not.
Yeah, in some of the older ones you could do that.
Also, this is a new thing that they're putting in. They're going to be putting in AI co-op quests, so you can take like the people, like the NPCs from the Kimura Village or the new area.
That's kind of fun.
And then go on like little AI things, and they'll use weapons, they'll use items, they'll even ride the monsters, and then there'll be like little subquests that go go along with that. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's lots of cool stuff.
I need to fucking get back into this game.
I also it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I cannot express to you, Michael, how impressed I am that Capcom has the nutsack to be like, you have to beat like a 7-star mission in order to access this $40 DLC that's coming out at the end of the month.
It's
like,
not 100% unheard of, though.
Yeah. It's just that these days, most companies will either like give you the ability to start directly from the DLC, or they'll give you like a speed your character up to the level needed.
Well, didn't they give like an armor that makes it easier or something?
They did, but it only works for about half the game. Like, I'm I'm at 3-star quests. I just unlocked 4-star quests, and I'm getting to the point where it's starting to become not as like it you breeze through the early game, right?
But this counts as G rank.
I don't know,
because G rank is usually the main like giant one.
But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Actually, I have a confession to make.
What's that?
I bought cosmetic DLC for Monster Hunter on the PC.
Really? What'd you
bought
buy?
like $6. I just wanted a fun outfit. There was one that looks like a pirate, and I was like, all right, I want a pirate outfit. And
that's not weird. I bought when Monster Hunter World was out, you could buy a Hadouken Shoryuken emote.
Oh yeah,
that actually attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So I used it to kill a monster one time.
Oh, there you go.
Which was a lot of fun.
So yeah, I mean, it looks like a really solid expansion. I have to say, again, I want to push back a little bit about a common Jeff theme on this show. Like, Capcom has really been fucking hitting it out of the park. Like, between Resident Evil and Monster Hunter, and even some of the stuff. I mean,
we're past the dark ages of Capcom, which I'm happy about.
They're putting out that Darkstalkers collection, which is a little kind of Konami rehashing the past stuff. But
yeah, but it might be a test.
Yeah,
too, because some people are thinking it's a test to see if people want more Darkstalkers.
Yeah,
which I hope to fucking God people buy the fucking game.
Yeah,
don't you fucking make me look like an asshole.
I think they still haven't introduced the. They're even adding moves to previous.
That's fun.
The older monsters. So
I guess it is maybe kind of G rank like. The fucking Tigrex.
Yeah. So Monster Hunter, man. Like again, I got to tell you. If you have like a gaming PC and you've never played Monster Hunter Rise was one of my favorite games from last year, and it looks incredible on the PC when you jack it up. Super smooth frame rate, super high resolution, like it looks great. Like it's not ray traced or anything, but just sharp as fuck and fun to play.
Also, you can cheat in it pretty easily.
And if you just play through the missions like as they come, you'll get plenty of like equipment and upgrades and stuff like that.
Yeah, the reason I say that is because there's a lot of people who have it on the Switch who wanted it on PC, but there isn't a way of taking your save with them.
Oh,
so some people just made like their charms and shit online.
Actually, here's the other thing I was thinking
still
about.
Played the game normally outside of that.
I was thinking the other day about this, where it's like, it's also really interesting that Capcom is so. The Monster Hunter developers, I don't even know who develops Monster Hunter, but that they're so confident about just how fun this game is that it's like everything in Monster Hunter Rise is just to get you to go fucking play Monster Hunter. Like, and it doesn't even matter the fact that there's like a shitload of missions, and then you have to do them all over again for the multiplayer version. There's like the single player version and then the multiplayer version, and they're kind of just the same missions. The only thing that I have to say bad about it is Rampage mode is not my favorite.
That's the only thing from the game that I don't like that they added was Rampage mode.
And it's like mandatory in certain places.
It could have been really cool, but the version they have is just kind of meh.
Just like tower defense.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter tower defense. And it's like,
I'm sure there's some really exciting like type of attacks like that happen in all the past ones.
Yeah.
But it's usually against like one monster and it's this cool, like fantastical thing. When you play that, it just feels like a chore.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We talked a lot about that through all this stuff. There's some more stuff coming. They talked about some of the stuff that we already know about the upgrades and when it's coming out in the digital version. But yeah, like look at this.
That's
these
pretty
outfits,
awesome.
These fucking Van Helsing outfits.
I might just buy it just for those.
And then let me see if they show the amiibos. Let's see. So those,
look at that.
These are some of the amiibos, but look at the character amiibos. They're like Castlevania Draculas. Like,
that's kind of amazing.
They look like they're right out of Bloodstained, for God's sake.
I kind of
like,
love that.
Look at the dog that looks like a vampire dog, and the Palico, the way he's like a top hat.
Oh, and it unlocks the outfit too if you have the amiibo.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's kind of nuts. And then there's a Pro Controller that has the monster on it.
I hadn't considered that. It's pretty
because
cool,
Pro Controllers weren't expensive enough. They had to make them even more expensive.
Yeah, and fucking scalpers are going to be annoying about it.
Oh, actually, did you hear? Scalpers probably for this stuff, yeah. But did you? Somebody was even posting in the Discord. Like Nvidia cards are starting to show up in the wild because the supply issues have finally been worked out to the point where like scalpers can't sell them anymore.
Oh, really?
So they've stopped buying them because they can't liquidate their inventory because the people that want them have already gotten them, and the people that don't want them or the people that are mildly interested are completely unwilling to pay. So it's like somebody posted a picture of the Discord of like a retail store with RTX 3070s on sale at MSRP.
Oh my God.
Which is a weird thing to be like, oh my God about, but like, oh my God.
I'm hoping that happens with the PlayStation soon. And there's a story, PlayStation and the Xbox soon, because there's a story I'm sure we're going to talk about soon that is the reason I brought it up.
I don't know if I kept that one in there or not. Anyway,
if not, I'll mention it randomly at the end.
Bunch of stuff in there. All right, one more 15-minute presentation, and then we got to take a break. We also finally, after a long hiatus, we finally got a 13-minute demo of Gotham Knights with Nightwing and Red Hood.
Yes. It's arcadey. It's very arcadey.
Yeah.
I don't have any issues with that specifically because I didn't expect it to just be fucking Arkham because it's a multiplayer game.
Right.
Because that would not be very easy to do.
Right. It seems like, well, first off, yeah, you're right in that it's like the detail level has obviously been lowered to like make it a little bit easier to run.
Yeah.
Which is weird because the story that comes after this is the fact that it's not coming out on the PS4 or the Xbox One.
Which is the story I was talking about.
Yeah. But like I don't know if we're to a point where do people still want to do this? Like we had all the Batman games and then we had all the spin-offs that aped the Batman games for like years.
Yeah.
And now it's like now they're back with more with not Batman, and it's like, does this even work when it's not Batman? Are there enough people who are like, ooh, Nightwing?
There are, actually, to be honest. The issue is that those people don't have money to buy next-gen systems.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's half of what the internet has been talking about after this came out.
Okay, also, do you know why the Red Hood has this weird fucking, like, Doctor Strange time-jumpy thingy?
Because they decided to just give him some dumb shit that he's never had in his entire life up to this point.
They said something in the video about, like, oh, he was revived from the grave or some bullshit like that.
Because he was revived from using the Lazarus pit.
Oh.
So they're just like, what if we just use that as an excuse to give him a double jump? And I was like, well, that's stupid because there's never been any indication he's had magical powers from that other than, being an asshole.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe this one just needs to maybe what I need is to just try this out from the beginning and see if the story will hook me. But like what I'm seeing here just looks like, I don't know. You know what? Okay, I just figured it out. Michael. It looks like a worse version of Spider-Man from the PlayStation.
Oh, that's absolutely what it looks like.
It looks like a less fun version of Spider-Man with B tier. I mean, and I don't dislike Nightwing or Red Hood or Batwoman or just Batgirl. I guess
Batgirl in this one, yeah.
Batgirl and Robin. Like, I don't dislike any of those characters. Actually, I'm not gonna say that's not entirely true because they show a cutscene later that has Red Hood like in his civilian.
He looks
clothes.
fucking weird.
He looks really weird. Like he's big.
The internet's
he's super
not a fan.
Big. Like he's a big dude now.
He's got like a buzz cut too for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
He looks awful.
Whereas like
that's what I will say.
Jason Todd wasn't played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like
a lot of people are kind of upset with the way he looks, and the fact that they randomly give him magical super jumps.
Yeah.
That and like I said, the announcement really like dampered anybody who was actually excited about this game.
Yeah.
Which is kind of shitty because this is the type of game where a lot of the people who would want it are hardcore comic book nerds who want to hang out essentially and play some of their favorite characters they haven't been able to use in a game ever. And now they're being shut out in waves is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of shitty.
Also, it's very weird that Red Hood is in here because he uses guns.
Yes. Well, Red Hood, they've gone out of their way to bring him back into the Bat family after him being essentially a villain for quite a bit.
It feels more like I don't know, Huntress would have been a better character.
I could see that. Or it's just that Red Hood's very popular nowadays.
Like spoiler, or who's that? Cassie Bat?
Oh, the other Batgirl. Yeah, Cassie Kane.
Yeah.
A lot of people are also saying that should have been. Although people have been making memes of that part where he knocks him out and says "crime resolved."
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Red Hood is just such an edgy boy character. Like
it's the issue. It's the issue I have, or a lot of people have had with a lot of characters like that. They're like, oh, they're a bad guy, and then they turn them into like it's
also,
a gag.
What's with this Dick Grayson walking around like he's the fucking Terminator in this?
So weirdly.
Why is his arm so far? Does he have like a rash from his deodorant or
it's
something?
Also the way his arms move, that he moves, like a Terminator.
He looks like a fucking monkey or something. He looks like Gorilla Grodd is psychically controlling him.
But it is the gag about him, about Red Hood and Winter Soldier Bucky. Is it's the boss when you fight him, the boss when you unlock them, kind of thing. And so
I don't know. It just looks kind of cheap. Like it doesn't look great.
Which is why it's kind of weird that they decided to cancel.
Like this screen where they've got like the suit melee ranged, and he's got like all these stats, and it looks like a PlayStation 3, like an early PS3, like. Just the layout. I'm not even saying like, oh, the graphics look like they're from the PS3. I hate it when people say that, but it's just like this whole thing smacks to me of like it started development.
It looks like a placeholder
8 years ago, and then it never actually finalized. They were just like, that's good enough.
Like it looks exactly like the sort of thing a placeholder would have when you first announced the game.
Right. Like no style.
And then they would stylize it later.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like the most fucking generic
these different
fonts I've ever seen.
like these outfits are kind of, I don't know. It's like,
fine. Again, it's like the people who were excited about this, they got shut out.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate for them.
It feels like this is for people who are tired of playing the Avengers.
Ironically enough, probably.
And really want something new to play, like that has more single player stuff. I don't know.
It's only 2 players, as far as I remember.
It's possible that maybe I'll load it up and like the story is really compelling, right?
Well, yeah, they're gonna do. It's a Court of Owls storyline.
Yeah.
My main issue is that I'm so annoyed when somebody's like, "Hey, the only way we can make it cool if to use other characters is if we kill Batman." And it's like, dude, like you can make this game and have Batman still be in it. Just be like, he was kidnapped or something. Like anything else other than just like, and then he fucking died.
Right.
Even the show they're gonna make, the CW Gotham Knights. That's the plot of it too. Is Bruce Wayne's murdered in the beginning of the show, and it's like, great, a Batman show without Batman again. Fucking, that's what we want.
Because that worked very well for Batwoman
that got canceled.
And I guess what was the other one?
Which other one?
That one had. Did that one have Batman in it? The one Gotham?
Well, technically, because it's a Bruce Wayne origin story,
right?
So he shows up at the end of the show,
right?
But
not really.
But not really. But you also got Pennyworth, which is another show that's being made.
Guys, there's a lot of other things that are cool in the DC universe that are not just Batman. Like there's other stuff, man. Like,
well, the issue is they'll make that stuff and then they'll go out of their way not to have it connect with the character that they're part of.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just
except for Young Justice. Young Justice is one of the only ones that's able to do that for some reason.
Yeah, Young Justice is like deep cuts. Last one I watched was like fucking Vandal Savage's daughter shows up to Artemis and requests asylum with the JLA, and I'm just like, Vandal Savage's daughter? Jesus, guys, like, woo! There was like a 4-5 episode arc that was all on Mars, and it was about Megan and Superboy and Connor getting married, and like everybody on Mars was a Martian in the form of the Martians, and they all spoke telepathically, so none of their lips moved. They had no facial expressions, and every one of their names had 4 apostrophes in it. And I was like, I don't know what is going on here. Who's talking about what? Who's for Fergderg? I forgot. They all are exactly the same. Like,
that's fair. I saw some clips of that one because I love Superboy.
Yeah. Connor's a really good character in that show.
Connor's fantastic.
Anyway,
I love Connor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's just, again, this also, last thing I'll say, because I'm sure some people are just like, fucking get on with it. Like Monty Python, get on with it. Like, I always thought that the appeal of the Arkham games was they were single player games, right? Like that but this to me smacks of this corporate thing where they're just like, but multiplayer's all the rage. Make it multiplayer.
Well,
and it's
some people wanted a multiplayer Arkham thing for a while, but they wanted it to be like a Batman and Robin sort of story, but not like whatever this is.
But that was so far in the past. That was like after Arkham City came out, right? Like, who's still pining for a multiplayer Batman game?
People honestly just want games with these characters in general.
Yeah,
but like I said, that's the issues that I hate whenever they're like, well, we can make that game, but that character has to be dead. Like, it's like if you made a Superboy and Supergirl game, but they're like, and it starts with the death of Superman.
Yeah.
I would be like, I'll play it, but I'll be annoyed the whole time.
I look at this and it doesn't seem to, nothing that I'm seeing from this, including, like, we didn't really talk about it all that much, but even just like the hits, like the way that when you watch Nightwing in these fights, they don't have that.
No, they don't.
Like bash, smash hits that fucking were like really satisfying in the Arkham games. So
even the way you float around feels kind of weird.
Yeah, like the okay, Batman did do some fucking ice skating to hit the guy that was behind him, but not in the distances that Nightwing is going in some of these, where they're like, well, he's a very ping pong character that goes back and forth. It's like that's not very satisfying.
Yeah.
Like,
also, when the hits happened when you did the ping pong, it felt amazing.
Yeah,
it just sort of feels like,
like really visceral in Batman Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Bam, bam.
It's a shame, yeah, because I like
stun him and then
my other issue is the fact that I wanted a Court of Owls story, and they're like, that's great, but what if we did it without Batman? And you're like, oh, for fuck's sakes, guys.
Isn't that kind of like the whole point of the Court of Owls?
Yeah, the Court of Owls is like this great whole fucking like Batman versus the thing he didn't know existed.
Yeah,
it kind of sucks that you just like, well, what if he died? I'm like, well, I don't give a fuck then.
Yeah,
it's just kind of annoying at that point.
I don't know.
I love the Court of Owls, and it's a shame that Batman, the story has nothing to do with Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it seems like, I mean, again, I'm not completely writing the game off. I mean, even if I didn't run this show, it would be fine. I tell you what, the other thing, though, is like looking at those outfits and looking at things like this icon that came up of obvious like crafting things, or early on how we saw like equipment that was green drop, and it's like, oh, that means you're going to be trying to fucking get that rare orange to be able to beat Bane later on or whatever. Like,
here's what I'll say. I will probably end up playing this because there are the people I know who are going to get this game.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I won't love it the way I did even the beginning of Avengers.
I would like to be proven wrong. I mean, that's the fucking, that's the secret, Cap, is like, I want all games to be good. I want every game to be the best game I've ever played. It's just like, from my knowledge of games over the years, I look at this and go, there's a lot of red flags that seem like we could end up with something that's not fun.
I want comic games to be great.
Yeah.
And when they're not, it makes me sad.
Yep. I just want a Superman game.
I do. I would be fine if they made another Justice League Heroes, that Ultimate Alliance thing they did.
Yeah,
I would be cool with that, just so I can have a use of Superman in that game
someday. Somebody is going to make like a good Superman TV show or movie, or not a TV show. I know
they already have one. Yeah.
Well, I know that,
but they already have multiples of those.
But I mean, I watched not Lois and Clark. Is that?
That's Superman and Lois, but yeah. Well, Lois and Clark was the other one.
Yeah, what's this one? What's the current one?
The current one's Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. I watched Superman and Lois, and fucking Smallville's being taken over by like rich people because it's in the Rust Belt, and like all the jobs left town. Okay, I'm talking about like a Superman where it's just like, oh no, Cyborg Superman is on the loose. I better go save Metropolis. Like, I just want a fucking regular old schmegular old like Superman does stuff written by somebody who knows how to write that shit and not make it cheesy. boom. Like, that's all I want. And someday they're either going to make that as a TV show or a movie or something, and it's going to be really popular, and they're just going to be like, well, where did all this come from? And it's like, all of us who are sick of Batman, or have been asking you for years, have your Batman, just please.
Just give us Clark.
I just want to see the big blue Boy Scout. He's my guy.
He's my man. He's my boy.
All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break, but do not go anywhere because we have a whole other news apocalypse to engage with. Now that I've ranted to Michael for fucking 30 minutes.
Yeah, we ranted about something entirely off mic.
Yes, it is time for more news. So as we mentioned before, we were talking about Gotham Knights when we left, and Gotham Knights is, yes, no longer coming to previous gen systems, PS4 or Xbox One. It's just going to be a PS5, Series X, and PC, which, again, just to reiterate, does not seem in line with the quality of the footage that I just saw. Like,
I think it's just because they can only get it to work on those consoles right now.
Oh, and
they were just like, well, next gen stuff or whatever.
Like, I don't know if maybe that's just, it wasn't very well, maybe it was an older builder or something, but like I feel like Gotham Knight looked better, had more just like of that PS4 Xbox like all kinds of shit and particles and stuff all over.
Arkham Knight is one of the best looking games of that last generation.
Yeah.
And it not frustrates me, but it's obvious that, or to me, it's obvious the reason they cancel them is that they want to get this out of the door finally.
Yeah.
It got delayed already because it was supposed to come out last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, well, we want this to come out probably even before the CW stuff happens. And we want this to be like our big thing. But they can only focus on one build at this point. And I think they just gave up on the other one and they just wanted to use the excuse of next gen.
Right.
But, it sucks because, again, a lot of people on Twitter, because this is the reason I watched the preview, a lot of people on Twitter, because comics Twitter is like taken over my feed, and it's mostly people being very mad that they're like, well, I don't have the money to go out and buy a PS5. I can't even find a PS5 or a Series X, and you want me to buy it for this fucking Gotham game?
Right.
No, the answer is like clearly no.
Yeah.
These people aren't going to buy this game until way after the fact, and by then it doesn't matter anymore.
By then it'll probably be shut down.
Exactly.
Servers
it won't matter.
Down.
Like it's a terrible decision.
Yeah.
From a buying standpoint, because this game needed those people.
Yeah,
to sell well, and it's not going to happen.
Especially because, like, Warner Brothers, right? Is they're going to put it out on PS5 and Series X, which have a lower installed base than the PS4 and the Xbox One, and then it's going to do a Square Enix where it doesn't sell as well because it's limited to the new gen consoles that aren't widely available, and they're going to be like, well, I guess nobody wants any more Batman. Cancel everything else. Fucking
no one
go make
likes
an Aquaman game
the
or
side
something.
Characters, so we're going to only make only Batman games without the side characters. Like, well, fuck.
Yep.
It's a whole thing. It sucks.
Speaking of PlayStation 5, apparently the PS5 sold below Sony's expectations last year in spite of selling 11.5 million units, which apparently Sony's projection was 14.8 million units.
Where were those units, though?
Yeah, that
probably would have sold if you could find them.
That's what this news story was confusing to me, because I was like, why did you guys... Like, I feel like your sales projections should have just said, however many we can produce. Like, I don't hear stories about PS5s languishing on store shelves.
No.
Right? Like...
I haven't heard anybody on Twitter be like, PS5s are everywhere, so of course they did this.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like, where are these other fucking 3 million fucking units that you said that you didn't sell? Because these motherfuckers want those things. So where the fuck are they?
Yeah. As near as I could tell, it just was like that was the projection, and then they just didn't sell it. But you know what? Right now, I'm going to tell you right now.
They're in some dude's garage right now that they forgot to ship
some
out.
Some scalper has 3.5 million units.
Fucking stole a warehouse worth.
is that we have a lot of news this week because there were a bunch of financial earnings calls this week. So we got a lot of different news and a lot of different kind of like information based on that stuff. I tell you what, though, we do have one more Sony story. Apparently, the FTC is investigating the Sony Bungie acquisition. This appears to be a kind of this isn't like we're looking for all those children that you murdered to make this acquisition go through. It's mostly just that the current administration is not as friendly to like big business acquisition, and so they are doing investigation. This exact same thing happened with Microsoft and the Bethesda Activision merger. There is no sign currently that this is going to interfere with that acquisition, but they've said before the FTC is concerned about a lot of power gathering in one place.
Yes, and it's happening a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of the acquisitions that are happening now, I'm sure, is setting off radar stuff because, you guys, I mean, I don't know if y'all know this, but like step one of this is always like it can be cool, right? Where you're like, oh, cool, now everything's going to be on Game Pass. And then like, once all of your favorite studios are owned by Microsoft and then they jack up the price of whatever, like whether it's games or Game Pass or whatever, then you don't have as much competition, which means that more power is in fewer hands, which in a lot of ways is antithetical to the way that capitalism is supposed to work, because you're supposed to have a whole bunch of people competing all at once, so that if this guy won't do it for the price that you want, you can go find somebody that will, and then they can make a bunch of money. So
it's the Disney thing. Disney has bought so many things that people are very worried, and rightfully so, that there aren't a lot of competition for all their stuff anymore.
Absolutely. Let's see. We also found out that the SEC. This is a very interesting story. The SEC fined Nvidia $5.5 million. Now,
that's interesting.
I don't know if you know this, but apparently, what was the number? In 2018, Nvidia reported $9.714 billion in income.
Oh my God!
I never realized that Nvidia was, quite the juggernaut. So,
I didn't realize that either. Oh my God, that's a lot of money.
Because Nvidia also manufactures the chips that get put into the third-party cards. So those third parties are paying a tithe back to Nvidia for part of the manufacturing. So the story here is that people inside of Nvidia were telling the Nvidia management that a lot of the new gaming cards that they were selling were being used for crypto mining, and that the board then did not disclose that information to shareholders. And that matters because shareholders have a right to know whether the profits are coming from retail gaming sector or crypto farming sector.
Well, it lets them make decisions based on that information, especially with what's going on right now. That would be very, very important to know.
Right. So that they don't have, without that information, they are unable to make informed decisions about how they whether they want to keep the stock, whether they want to sell the stock, what they want to do with the stock. So apparently the SEC offered Nvidia this kind of resolution about whether they wanted to essentially disclose this information or pay a $5 million fine. And for a company that, made $9.74 billion, they were just like, sure, $5 million here, go away.
No, they made $9 billion. They don't fucking care.
It's very interesting.
Now the shareholders know anyways. Doesn't really matter.
But I don't think they still know, because Nvidia put a limiter on... My God, somebody fucking commented on something the other day, and it's now made me paranoid. Sorry. Somebody...
One of the porn bots scare you, Jeff?
No. Somebody on one of the podcasts talked about a vocal tick that I have and pointed it out as if it's something that I'm doing intentionally and not something that just ekes its way into my speech. And so now... Not even in the first part. I'm sure I was doing it all through the first part. Now I've just remembered it, and now I'm paranoid. It's that thing where somebody points out that you say the word like a lot.
Is that the one that I did? I can't remember the one that I did.
I don't remember.
There was one specific
it's
that
very difficult to get around that
I forgot about it by now that I probably did it again.
It makes it very, very difficult to speak because you suddenly become paranoid because I don't make the decision to say this phrase. I'll just say it's it's the word
but is just a normal fucking phrase.
Somebody made a thing about it, and the thing is,
I don't remember what mine was.
It's not something that I intentionally do. It's not like I start saying a sentence and I'm like, I'm going to put in 3 into this sentence. It just happens. And by trying to get around it, I have now slowed my talking because my brain is having to buffer what is coming out of my mouth. Anyway, cryptocurrency ruins everything.
It does,
story.
But apparently they're ruining themselves lately, but that's a whole thing.
Yes. Well, we were talking before about how, we're seeing like retail 3070s out on shelves finally, because the bottom is starting to come out of the crypto market and resellers can't resell the thing, and Nvidia has a bunch of apparently they've already bypassed the anti-crypto mining stuff that Nvidia built into the cards, but I still think that Nvidia should. I mean, there is also kind of the alternate side of this is the question of how the fuck does Nvidia know what people are going to take their cards and do with it?
Yeah, there's no way.
I'm sure that there might be some way. I don't know the last time that you used an NVIDIA card, but you have to log into a Google or Facebook account to update your drivers with the NVIDIA GeForce Experience app on your system.
I did not know that.
So there's a good possibility that they might know, but it's a question of, it's a question of if they really, because in the story they talked about how it was internally they had this information and then it kind of came out. So let's see, from there we have more legal news. There is a lawsuit that is going forward. This is a lawsuit against Valve for Steam. This was brought by there was a previous suit that was brought by the same company, Wolfire Games, who brought a suit, and this actually we probably talked about this when it happened, because the initial case was dismissed, but it wasn't dismissed with prejudice in a way where the company could rewrite the suit and then bring it back to court again. And in doing this, Wolfire basically is saying that Valve owns so much of the market that you have to adhere to their rules, to a bunch of unwritten / written rules, regardless of whether it is profitable for your company in order to get your game on Steam.
Yeah.
Like apparently you have to have some amount of price parity with other consoles, with the console versions. There are some restrictions as to what you can put in your game. There are some restrictions as far as how much you can discount or put your game on sale. And this company makes a pretty decent case that Steam, just in collecting all of this power over the years, has now become a de facto. They have a lot more power, and that they aren't being deliberate about the way that they use it.
What's the whole thing with the it's sort of my core. It's the fact that like most sales come from Steam,
right?
Now, especially nowadays, and the fact that any attempt at not selling on Steam, even first, causes people to be like, "Well, I'm just not going to buy your shit."
Right. The only way the Epic Game Store has been able to even make a dent in Steam's not monopoly. They're just kind of
borderline a monopoly.
Yeah, their overall market, the overall amount of the market that they deal with is that they had to pay developers for basically to lose cash by putting their games on the Epic Game Store. They had to make a deal saying, we will make up the money that you potentially would have made by putting your game on Steam if you put your game on our thing only. And even then, it's not exclusive forever. So, blurch.
People are really worried about that shit.
It'll be interesting to see. Where this goes, because I do think that it's kind of funny because Steam does not, like, I don't think that they set out to be this.
No, they never did. It was just their way of trying to control
It's just there were no competitors for so long.
They were just trying to control the launchings of their main games.
Yeah.
It was what, Counter-Strike?
I think it was Team Fortress 2 and like Portal.
There was something that you had to force
or Half-Life 2 might have been.
You had to force it on there, and at the time people were annoyed by it.
Yeah,
and then
because it was the equivalent of like the Bethesda launcher.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It just all they did was they're like, well, we can sell our stuff through it, and then people started giving them their stuff to sell through it, and then just sort of spiraled from there.
Man, Kotaku is just this is a Kotaku story, and this is a bad thumbnail that they put on this.
It's a weird ass thumbnail.
Spoilery Kotaku. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if this goes anywhere. Again, I don't know what you would do. I don't know. Sometimes the solution, they would say, oh, you have to break up Steam. Like, I think one of the solutions was the idea. One of their previous proposals was the billing part of Steam and the library part of Steam are disconnected from each other. So like the store and the library are two separate companies that aren't allowed to like collude with each other to
That wouldn't be the worst idea, but it would also be very difficult.
It'd be very strange. Can you imagine having two Steam apps? Like having an app just for buying it, just a store. You know what? It would be the Microsoft store, right?
Yeah, it would just be that all over again.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Let's see. From there, speaking of Steam, last week on Steam, we found out that Michael's favorite game right now, Babylon's Fall, had one concurrent user. So apparently Babylon's Fall, after it launched, has been doing something like 50 to 60 users a day.
Not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot. Definitely not a lot.
To put that in perspective, Avengers at even some of its worst time had like 200.
Yes.
200, 230, something like that.
Yeah. And so last week there was a point in time where there was literally just one lone person logged in to Babylon's Fall.
Oh my God.
And do you want to know the best part, Michael?
What's that?
Let me tell you something even better than that. That person like went on Twitter and identified themselves because they were like a game journalist that realized when they saw the timing.
Oh, they're a game journalist?
That they were the person that was in there. Yeah, this person at Dashiell Wood on Twitter responded to the Video Game Chronicles article and said, "Not a joke. This is literally me." And what's interesting is that if you read this article, again, this is a Kotaku article that's talking about this. They talk about how they really like Babylon's Fall because they're a games journalist who plays nothing but AAA games, and they appreciate the kind of horrible, fucked up jankiness of Babylon's Fall as like a breath of fresh air after playing game after game that's very well polished and fun and easy to play. That it's kind of interesting to see a game that's so ugly and depopulated and difficult and like unpleasant. So,
oh my God, that's amazing. That's so much worse than I expected.
Yep.
I expected it to just be like, well, I was playing it so I could review it or some shit.
Let's see if I can find.
Oh my fucking God.
Let's see if I can find. Let's see. It's pretty aggressive. $60 price tag. I'm the proud owner of both the Balan Wonderland and Left Alive Collector's Edition.
Oh, Jesus.
Wood said, "You can say what you want about their quality as video games, but there's something charming about each of them. Obviously, I play a lot of games professionally, and a lot of AAA games these days are incredibly polished experiences. It really started to bore me after a while, so it's been refreshing to play some titles from the other end of the spectrum. If anything, their flaws make them far more interesting to play and discuss than what the likes of Naughty Dog or Rockstar Games has been putting out. There's so much to dig into and examine here. Babylon's Fall is like its own little puzzle box of catastrophic cock-ups."
It means he's watching. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's so fucking amazing.
Seen so many slick games. He's like, you know what I'm in the mood for? Broken trash.
Well, it's like that thing where people watch what is the name of that really bad? Is it Ninja Cop? You know what I'm talking about?
Like Wolf Cop?
Yeah, stuff like that. It's like him watching those and being like, these are kind of bad, but like I really love the fact that they're kind of bad.
Right.
Like he's seeing him like the B movie of a video game which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the difference being that a B movie is just something you put on in the background for 90 minutes and then you're done with it, as opposed to Babylon's Fall that expects you to want to play it for like 40 hours or something, which
That's
is...
the thing. I love Duke Nukem Forever. I've gone on record how much I love Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah.
And I know its flaws, but that game isn't that long.
Right.
I'm not sure I could play Duke Nukem Forever if it was a RPG.
A games of service that wants me to keep logging in for daily bonuses and things like that.
Although if it was an actual Duke Nukem game, I probably would. But yes.
Yeah. Speaking of giant trash fires, can you guess what I'm about to say?
Shit.
Let's talk about...
Is it Avengers?
Speaking of online trash fire video games that suck, let's talk about...
Fuck. I had one in my head.
Battlefield 2042.
Okay, fuck. That would have been my third guess. My second guess was going to be that one fucking PUBG. It was PUBG.
So, okay, we've had earnings. We had earnings calls. I was talking about how we had earnings calls this week. EA put out a slide deck that was part of their earnings calls. This is pretty amazing. Okay. We scroll down. We've got all the different blah, blah, blah. Here's the numbers. Here's the graphs. Here's the charts. And then here's expanding diversified portfolios of live services. FIFA 22, Madden 22, Apex Legends, Sims 4, Battlefield 5.
Huh.
EA Hockey Ultimate Team, FIFA Online 4, Star Wars The Old Republic, Pogo, Play Pro, EA Play. Where is Battlefield 2042?
Yeah, that's
why
not
is
even...
it Battlefield 5?
Why? Yeah, why 5? Didn't 5 come out a while back?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yes, it did. Also, people played Battlefield 5 as opposed to 2042, which
did not know that.
People do not play.
What the fuck happened?
It's kind of amazing. This is from the EA presentation.
Yeah,
this is not
their
like
actual presentation.
Yeah, I didn't make this up. So apparently,
and if you did, that's a long fucking spreadsheet.
They've done this before, and they're talking about how I don't know what they. Somebody did ask about it in their earnings call, and Andrew Wilson was like, "We take a long view here. This is one of the greatest franchises in our history, built by one of the great teams in our industry, and our expectation is that we continue to grow and be a really important part of our portfolio for many, many years to come." It appears that the company line is like, we're still working on it, which is, I mean, I don't know. What are we like? 6 months?
Quite a while into it.
6 months from launch. So
it's been out for a long time now.
That is no good.
Like Halo went into its second fucking season now.
Yeah.
And Battlefield 2 for 2042 still, like, their car broke down in the garage. They still haven't gotten it to run.
It's
and every time they fix another part breaks down.
It's kind of amazing. You'd feel like companies would realize by now that, like, if you put out a broken game, you don't always get to come back from that.
No.
Also, a lot of times it depends on how broken your game is and how fervent your audience is. No one wants to play a broken online multiplayer game.
No, not really. Like there's like a handful of them that will keep going.
Yeah,
but the rest of them are just gonna be like, I'm just gonna take my ball and go.
Like, I'm willing to play some slightly janky single player games, but if it comes to, because the problem with an online multiplayer game is, what was that one thing that we saw where it was, you know, if you threw smoke or something, the AI freaked out. And then it's just like everybody starts doing that. And so they start using the broken fucked upness in the game to make their own fun. And then you fix it. And everybody's like, well, I guess it's back to being crap. That's not very fun. So
yeah, that's the thing. Because like I'm going to bring up Avengers because I liked playing Avengers and it's very broken in a lot of ways. But I stopped because it keeps getting more broken. Yeah. Like I was telling, I don't remember where I said it, but it was that thing where like character models of people who are not Iron Man have started flying like Iron Man all of a sudden.
Oh yeah,
for no fucking reason.
Yep.
Like I saw one of Spider-Man, I saw one of Hawkeye, and if these people restart their level, they show back up as Iron Man or some other random fucking character that they did not pick. When they started playing that area, and it's just fucking weird.
It is. Let's see. We have some more EA news. EA apparently from this earning calls has 4 unannounced projects. And this is in the fiscal year, so this is between now and April of 2023. This appears to be some of the things talked about here: a partner title, a remake, a sports title, and one from a major IP.
I don't know what that means.
Well, we do know that they're making a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order.
That's true.
Yosef Fares is making something new. It Takes Two guy.
Oh, okay.
We do know that there's the Dead Space remake that's currently being worked on.
They did come out with a release date, right? For Dead Space.
I don't know. There was a thing today, but I didn't have time to look it up.
It's a January.
Oh, okay.
January 27th, something like that.
That would make sense. Yeah. And then there's also Dragon Age.
Oh yeah, that's right.
New Dragon Age is in the horizon, and the Mass Effect that's being worked on. So
yeah, and the sports could be any of their bajillion sports titles.
That's true.
FIFA,
or it could be a new Lord of the Rings game. Okay, wait, I can't do that.
Is there sports in Lord of the Rings?
No, but EA is making a new Lord of the Rings game, and it's a mobile game. Now, to be clear, from their description, it sounds like it is a mobile game the way that Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is a mobile game.
It's one of those games.
Which is pretty fun. Yeah,
people like those a lot, though, to be honest.
The auto battler, you're going to collect a bunch of characters and kind of go through, and there'll be daily... I actually liked Galaxy of Heroes. I actually reinstalled it on my phone when I got a new phone because I was like, oh, it'll run better on this. And then I realized that my phone automatically logs into my Gmail account, which is my Google Play account, which saves my progress in the cloud, and Galaxy of Heroes has no way to restart your progress. And I load it up, and it's like, oh, here's your TIE Fighter missions that you're doing, and here's the, 800 crystals for a thing that you were working towards. I'm like, I don't remember any of this. I need to go back to the beginning where they're just like, here's a Wookiee. Go fight a guy. And I'm like, okay.
I played the DC one they had a bit. I don't know if they're still around, but there was a DC one they made at one point.
Yeah. So, yeah. If you like Lord of the Rings, you get a Lord of the Rings game. Now I'm just every time I say or I'm also just really paranoid. So I don't know what to do.
I want to say it was maybe it was that I said.
I'm gonna have to
Internet, tell me what it was that I said a bunch of times that annoyed you.
I'm gonna have to stop talking. I'm just talking entirely. I'm gonna have to do the rest of this with psychic voices. See, look, there was another one. EA is dropping FIFA.
Oh my God, really?
Yes. This started actually a few years back where we probably talked about this. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. FIFA jacked up the license price to the point where it was going to be $1 billion for 4 years of FIFA
$1 billion with a B.
Yes.
No one wants to pay that. That's not true.
At which point Electronic Arts announced EA Sports FC, EA Sports Football Club, and basically said, okay, we'll go away then. We'll just make our own soccer game under our own banner because FIFA, I don't think that FIFA directly controls the likenesses of players or anything like that. I think that EA can still make deals.
I don't know if it's the same thing that they do with college football, because college football has that specific thing.
Right. But it does says, part of this was EA Sports FC will bring the strengths of over 300 individual licensing partners, providing players with access to 19,000 athletes across 700 teams in 100 stadiums over 30 leagues. So whatever they're doing, it can't be that FIFA, that they're not allowed to use anything that FIFA has their hands on, which, FIFA's a piece of shit. Like, FIFA, the organization, sucks a bunch of donkey dicks.
They absolutely do.
So good riddance to them. I'm not exactly rooting for EA Sports over here, because, they don't challenge everything anymore.
Really. I think the idea is that the teams and the leagues themselves own all that stuff, and FIFA is just happens to be like the head thing.
Yeah.
But they probably only control the name of FIFA itself, not the actual, and whatever the tournaments, I guess, themselves are. But that doesn't matter when it comes to gaming.
Yeah.
So it'll be just fine. They'll be just fine.
I mean, at this point, Konami has screwed the pooch on the only competitor that they had, which was PES, which became was that eFootball or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something really stupid. What was that? I think it was in here. PS. Anyway,
either way, I'm curious as to what will happen to the FIFA title from here.
Yeah,
because I'm sure somebody's going to want to do it, but for $1 billion, it's going to have to be a real big company.
Guys, just got to go get on that Captain Tsubasa Rise of Champions train. That's where the real action is.
Maybe they'll put FIFA into Fortnite. They have the money.
Well, speaking of battle royale games, Michael, we finally found out what the fuck the Operation Monarch in Call of Duty Warzone is.
I was going to be curious if you found out about what's going on finally.
I did. So, yes, Godzilla and Kong are on the maps. This is. But what's strange about this, Michael, is that this went live yesterday. We're recording this on Thursday the 12th. And it's only running until the 25th, like 2 weeks.
Which is weird.
It just seems really strange for the work that they've done here, because Godzilla and King Kong are like on the island, and you shoot at them, and they will sometimes fight back, but the team that damages them enough, teams of 4, like Battle Royale teams of 4, the team that damages them enough will then get access to the Monarch MacGuffin box, and then can make Godzilla or Kong attack the other teams. So Godzilla will do his atomic breath, and Kong will do a big stumpy stomp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really strange thing to do. It's the
for
MacGuffin,
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's the MacGuffin box from King of the Monsters.
Yes.
And it's like, it's a 2-week thing, and they rendered these models, and they look really good for the most part.
Yes.
And they're only going to use them for 2 weeks.
And that they didn't come out anywhere near Godzilla versus Kong.
Not even close. Not even like their DVD release.
Right.
Not even them being put back on HBO Max or anything.
Nope.
Just fucking randomly in the middle of fucking May.
King Kong's birthday.
Yeah. Godzilla's anniversary or something.
Nope.
Matt Frank's birthday, I guess. Nothing.
Nope.
Literally none of those things.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
We would have accepted that last one, but
yes.
still. Are you going to end up doing this with Matt after all?
Yes.
Okay.
Godzilla and King Kong walk around. I got to find enough people in the Rage Select Discord, patreon.com/RageSelect, to, like, I need a team of 3 dedicated individuals who can keep me alive long enough to see these motherfuckers.
Have you asked Jason?
I don't want to put Jason through that. I want Jason fresh and frosty. I haven't talked to him about it, but
I'm sure Matt will ask him.
In roughly 2 weeks, Michael, the butt sniper's back. So
that's true.
I don't know if I want to waste my Jason Murphy time.
I'm sure the Discord people will like to do that.
I need 3 people to keep me alive, so that Matt and I can see a big monkey or a big lizard a few times, and I don't want to make random people on the internet have to cover Matt and I as we spin around in a circle and go woo.
That's fair.
In a battle royale game.
Yeah.
So. It's very strange, though. It's very bizarre, this whole tie-in. But I don't know what the fuck, because Snoop Dogg and Attack on Titan and Godzilla versus Kong, and none of this has to do with anything.
Nope.
So
also Rambo and John McClane and
John
stuff.
McClane, yep. Jigsaw.
I wonder if those outfits are still a thing you could use. So maybe you could just show up as Rambo. I don't know. I don't think that's a thing. But
I don't have any idea, and I don't want to know. I do want to know, actually. You mentioned it before, but we also had a story this week that apparently Halo Infinite Season 2 has been not well received by the community.
Well, at least by the hardcore, like, people.
Yes.
Because they had all their tricks and shit.
Yeah, that was a thing I was wondering if you could explain to me. Apparently there was... it seemed like there were, like, exploits that people were using to move around the map.
Yeah,
and
it was just like...
343, like, closed them, and people are like, brrr! It's like, well, you weren't supposed to be doing that. It was a glitch. Like,
yeah, there were like glitches that you could use to like get into certain areas much faster than if you did the normal way of like walking around
right.
to get to a certain area. It was a lot of stuff like, well, if you did the slide in this specific area in this specific way, it caused you to like bounce or clip or something into an area that got you into certain areas faster, so you could like kill people more or some shit like shit like that. Where it's like, well, that's like, and a lot of the arguments was like, well, it didn't affect the casual people that much. I'm like, well, it did. I kind of get what you mean by that, but it still affects them,
right?
In a larger way.
Also, who leaves that shit in a multiplayer game?
Yeah, exactly. And so these people were like, "Well, we used it for our competitiveness," and nobody asked for anybody to fix these, which is technically true because a lot of people didn't really care about that in the long run. But they did it because it's
a bug.
It's a bug, and it's less competitive if you have like weird giant exploits at all times,
right?
And there's some stuff in there that, like, it's like I was trying to find a list of the rest of the things people were saying that they had fixed, but I couldn't find anything that was like coherent. It was a lot of just like, this is what some guy brought up, this is what another guy brought up, but I don't know. It's a lot of just
a lot of complaining.
It's the same thing that happened with that one gun, the Mauler. where all the competitive people were like, you should change this because it makes certain competitiveness things too hard if a person has a mauler, where the rest of the world's like, they don't speak for us, we love that thing, don't fucking touch that thing.
Yeah,
because the people who ask for changes, for the most part, if they ask for a change, the competitive people ask for weird ass changes that benefit them,
right?
Not the rest of the casual people. Where this would benefit the rest of the casual people, not them.
Also, I mean, like, I remember this correctly, right? Halo Infinite multiplayer is free to play.
Yes.
So I kind of think that when you release something as free to play, that the player base doesn't get to make as many stringent demands because they can't fall back on the I spent $60 on this, do what I say because I'm a fucking consumer thing.
It's like none of that stuff really applies the way it did in this. And again, like all the hardcore competitive people, yeah, they don't speak for the rest of the casual audience who are also playing it.
Right.
So you can't be like, why didn't you change this thing? Where clearly this needed to be changed. It's going to be some weird-ass fucking thing that no one gives a fuck about the frames involving the assault rifle or some shit.
Right.
And it's just, whereas that thing is a very obvious thing. You can see that it happens. And so it would make sense that that's something that they would fix.
Yeah. Also, apparently there was not as many maps. People wanted more maps. There were only 2 maps.
They added 2 maps, and they're like tied to very specific game types right now.
Okay.
And one of them is a battle royale light that I finally got all of those challenges done, so I don't have to do it anymore.
Well, so there's Joseph Staten, who is one of the people working on the game that was on like a podcast.
Okay.
That talked specifically. They asked him about whether they could bring back old maps.
God, I hope so.
They were very cavalier about it. Just, well, why don't you just put old maps in the new engine? And it was like, well, it's going to obviously take more than that.
Yeah,
but,
it'll take a lot more work than that. But I want that box canyon.
But their answer to this was kind of cavalier, or not cavalier, but kind of like winky, grinny. Like, he's like, ooh, that's a great idea. Let me write that down. I guess nobody around here has ever thought about that, making people think that might be kind of
that they're already
moving in that direction.
Although it would be funny as hell if no one did think about it, and he's like, oh, I should write that down, but I want to make sure it doesn't look like I'm an idiot.
Yeah, which apparently the devs. Hey, the one thing about Halo Infinite is they seem to have an infinite amount of humility, where they're just like, yeah, I mean, we kind of fucked it up a little bit. Like, we're going to try hard. We're going to give you some bonuses.
Yeah, they came out with that thing where they're like, hey, we realize that a lot of you are mad about our customization options, so we're going to try to work on that more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've listened. That's the thing, is that I'm glad they've listened for the most part.
Better than goddamn EA or Activision did.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Maybe the entire Call of Duty community was like, we want Godzilla and Kong, and they're like, why? And they're like, Kong and Godzilla, and they're like, okay, I guess.
I want stupid shit in my Call of Duty game.
Also, Snoop Dogg and King Kong.
I can see the Snoop Dogg one happening very easily, though.
Yeah,
it happened, but you know what I mean.
We also had another story here about this is a pro Halo Infinite player named Tyler Ganza.
Yeah,
that just kind of shit talked a lot of. They shit talked Bungie.
I read their tweets, or they were 343.
Yeah, they were very, they were just very like shitty about it. And then apparently because they are a pro player, they got fined because you're not allowed to just go out and shit talk the company that does the thing that you're the contracted player for.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of cursing in throughout them too.
Yeah,
the tweets that he did out. He's like, this is fucking stupid, is basically what he's saying.
They also okay, so apparently the one thing is that like there is this like weird jamming thing that's happening with
like
guns
glitch,
jamming, but it is a glitch. It is not an intentional. It will be fixed.
No.
But so apparently this person then like they paid their fine, and then they said, I'd like to apologize to nobody, and everybody's like, ooh, look, 343 tried to shut this guy up, and I'm like, I think that guy should shut his fucking mouth personally.
Yeah, he's causing some trouble.
You are a professional Halo player. don't shit talk Halo.
Yeah.
I don't know. This weird attitude that happens from time to time with esports or streaming people where it's like, yeah, man, I know I'm getting paid to play Fortnite professionally, but I'm going to do whatever I want. I'll be out there and be like, what I like to do is come on thick asses. And everybody's like, excuse me, you work for a company. You can't do that.
You work for a team as well, probably.
And there's lick my ass suits. I can do whatever I want to, including fuck your dog. And then they're like, okay, this guy is fired. Like, my free speech. I'm not allowed to say anything. And it's
every time.
Now when you get a check that says from Halo,
there's a contract. There's a contract there that clearly states why they can fine you.
I don't know.
So yeah, they're gonna if you keep getting fined, whoever is in charge of your nonsense is going to be like, I don't want to represent you anymore.
I've been talking about this a lot. I'm sure it's going to come up a lot in the coming years, but it's like I'm starting to really reconnect with my Gen X identity, and that like Gen X has been ignored, and so it's like I didn't have that cultural touchstone, but now the being ignored is a cultural touchstone, and I feel like other people that are of my generation would be like, I mean, you broke the rules.
Yeah.
Like, they said you couldn't do it, and then you did it, and then you had to pay the money because the thing you signed said if I do this, I'd have to pay the money. Like, what the fuck? Are you stupid?
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to say whatever the fuck you wanted to about Halo, go be an Overwatch player and then say whatever you want to about Halo. Like, it's not to get too far down this rabbit hole, but there's like this whole thing about free speech on YouTube, and I'm like, when did people think that it's like you can just go on a publicly available thing and say whatever you want to, and that there's just like, and I think that nothing should happen to me because of that. It's like, but there are rules to these sorts of
people
things.
People hear the word free speech and they're like, it means I'm free to do whatever, but that's not what that means.
Yeah.
How even like free and everything else still has an asterisk on it. If something says free pizza, there's still an asterisk on there that says you have to do something. Like you have to hear that lecture to get that free pizza.
Right.
Or you have to buy another pizza to buy that pizza for free. Like it's rarely ever just
with
free
purchase
pizza.
of it contributing. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of times where I feel like people from generations that are not mine, whether they're the older ones or the younger ones, because I say fuck a bunch of authority, but like, if you wanted to be able to say fuck authority, why did you sign a contract with a company?
That's why I never say anything about my job. Like I like my job. I'm not going to say anything bad about my job because again, I like my job. But the thing is, like, if I had something bad about my job, I'm not going to tweet out that, hey, this job is terrible or something. I'm going to be like, I'm going to tell people I know.
You will say it without a microphone,
in person,
softly,
and look around. Yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna be the moment where like you said bitch though, right? That's gonna be the conversation.
Right. Exactly.
It's never gonna be on Twitter where they can see me say some shit. About it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't get it. Anyway, let's see. Microsoft, we also got another report from them, from VentureBeat, that says that probably within the next 12 months we're going to be seeing a standalone streaming device a la Roku box or
that'd be a good move,
Fire TV stick, and then not just that, but then apparently they're finally going to get off their butts, and xCloud is going to get put on the Samsung television store. So you can just install it directly to Samsung TVs, obviously.
Bluetooth, so I assume that would be the point.
Right. Sync a controller, install the app, and then do the streaming because you don't have to have any hardware for it. But it'll be interesting to see
how well it works,
Yeah, how well it works. I didn't know this. Apparently, recently, Xbox put Fortnite on the streaming from the...
Did they really?
The xCloud, yeah. So you can now stream Fortnite through Xbox, which I guess means that you can play it on like Apple phones.
Yeah, you can play it on your iPhone. Take that, Apple.
So yeah, I think it's a good move. I like streaming sticks, but I mostly put this in here as a transition, Michael, to your second favorite online multiplayer video game.
Is it Avengers?
That got some news based on streaming technology. This is literally a cursed story I'm about to say.
Oh, geez.
A game that we all thought was gone might not be as gone as we thought, because Resident Evil Reverse,
oh my god,
has been registered in EU for like a PEGI rating on Google Stadia.
That would have been my That would have been like my 10th or 11th guess because I forgot about ReVerse entirely.
Do you remember how we were supposed to get ReVerse as a free download with our purchase of Resident Evil Village?
Yes. It was free, a free attachment, free game. You're going to love that shit, Capcom said out loud.
Ooh, love it.
And we played it on stream, or not even stream. We played it on the dojo.
Yeah, we just played it when it was in beta,
and we were like, "This is stupid.
This is horrible.
This is real bad."
4-on-4 dick.
Yeah,
like
even that Resident Evil 3 game had a longer last.
Oh yeah, the weird asynchronous multiplayer thing.
And even then, that wasn't very good either.
ReVerse isn't even out.
Yeah, it's technically not even out. It never actually came out. It was a beta when we got it.
It was a time beta. It's not even like you could have played it after that.
Yeah.
Like it's just not out. But apparently I
forgot it existed.
It's been rated with a release date of what is that? April, May, June, July 5th, 2022 Stadia release. So I think that when it finally comes out, you and I need to do a 3-hour stream where we play ReVerse on Stadia.
Oh God!
And I'm going to set my VPN to Europe just to make it even worse than that. Like just the worst possible configuration.
That'll be fine.
Yeah,
that's such a what a fucking nightmare.
Speaking of shit you ain't heard of in a while, hey, how about Ubisoft's Avatar game? Did you remember that Ubisoft was making an Avatar game?
I did, only because no one will shut up about Avatar right now.
Yep. Oh yeah, because the trailer for the new movie came out. It was the most boring thing. It was so boring.
I'm so don't care.
Boring.
The internet is now fighting each other over. Now the internet is now at civil war over whether they really were really excited or they fucking want it to fail real bad. And I'm directly in the middle because I don't give a fuck either way.
Yeah, you guys can have let them fight. I don't care.
Let them fight.
To do whatever you want to. I watched the first one once.
Same.
And I never had a desire to look at it.
Had no lasting impression. I'm like, well, on a technical level, this is kind of cool, but that's it.
I think you know what? I think the best thing to come out of the first Avatar movie was
what's that?
Was the
was it the name Jake Sully?
No, it was the Mr. Plinkett review where he says, "You might not have noticed, but your brain did." And like I think like that meme,
that meme's great.
Has bigger legs than the entirety of James Cameron's Avatar.
My favorite.
What was the name of Michelle Rodriguez's character?
I don't remember.
What was the name of Justin Hammer's character?
Justin Hammer?
Fucking what's his face was in there, wasn't he?
Was he?
Sam Rockwell? He was
Sam Rockwell in Avatar?
Yeah, he was the unobtainium. He was the corporate guy, right?
I don't remember this at all. But then again, I watched it once.
What was the name of the lady? Okay.
Natir?
Oh, you actually? Ooh, you did know.
So the reason, actually, the reason I brought that up is that the reason I know is because the reason my favorite thing that came out of Avatar was the Funhouse videos they did of the Avatar game. That they did 2 of them, and one of them pretended to be Natir. That was the only reason I remember that and Jake Sully, because those are really funny videos.
Sam Worthington, Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang was the only other guy I know.
Giovanni Ribisi is not
so
Sam
it wasn't
Rockwell.
Even Sam Rockwell.
It was Giovanni Ribisi.
That's why I was like, he's not in that movie.
I don't remember.
That's the thing. Most people don't remember.
Sam Worthington.
What was Michelle Rodriguez's character's name, by the way? What does it say?
Trudy Chacon.
What a fucking weird
combat
name.
pilot assigned to support the Avatar program who is sympathetic to the Na'vi.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't sign up for this. I'm like, that's literally what you signed up for. That entire job is exactly what's told to you directly, just like the Halo guy.
Yeah. Anyway, Ubisoft had an earnings call where they were talking about the things that they have coming out this year, and apparently the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is still set to be released at some point during this fiscal year, as well as Skull and Bones.
I believe it when I see that shit, guys.
And Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and then 2 other Ubisoft titles currently in production that are all supposed to come out sometime before March 31st of 2023. I believe that one of those is either the... there's also the... Remember, we've got the Ghost Recon Battle Royale game. The Tom Clancy's Hero Shooter game.
Oh, that's the whole thing?
And the Division Heartland free-to-play Division
I forgot about that
game.
Too. I forgot about all of those things. Oh, my God. Just like Avatar.
Do you think that's a good sign?
No, it's not. Just like Avatar. No, I'm sure the Avatar movie will do fine. I'm curious as to how the game will do, though.
Poorly, I would be like.
Yeah, most casual movie fans aren't exactly the best casual gamers either.
Okay. We had a lot of bad news. We had a lot of laughs. I've got some good news.
What's up?
I've got some bad news that leads to good news. So, remember that version? You remember that mode in Hitman 3 that was coming that was like a roguelike mode where you got the house and you do stuff? Well, that mode has been pushed back. It was supposed to come out this summer, and it's now coming out in the fall.
Oh, okay.
But that means that the Ambrose Island, the new map that they're making, has been basically moved up from later in the year to, I believe it's July.
I'm happy they were going to make a new map because I remember you at one point saying they weren't going to make more stuff, but
yes,
I'm glad they're still doing stuff.
Yes, freelancer, blah 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 blah, July. So well, what's interesting about it is the World of Assassination trilogy doesn't have a lot of holes to fill in, which I've talked about before. But it was also announced that this is going to be before. It's going to be basically a prequel map that takes place before the World of Assassination starts, which is a great way to do it because 47. Well, what's interesting
for a while,
is that at the beginning of Hitman 2016, it's about 47 joining the ICA. Like when he first comes into the ICA, the first few levels are his test to join the ICA. And then there's a montage that happens that shows everything that happens in all the other Hitman games.
Oh, okay.
And then you go to the Paris Fashion Show. If this happens before that, I do kind of like the idea of a younger, rawer, not like working for the ICA 47 that was just out there fucking like shooting people to pay the bills before he got like corporate sponsorship.
That would be kind of funny. But how does it connect to Doctor Strange, Jeff?
It's well, you got to watch WandaVision to really know where Agent 47.
Gotta watch Moon Knight. He's in the background there.
He was in What If. And you know how I could say that? Because nobody watched What If. So he very well could have been, and you wouldn't fucking know. I mean,
that's fair.
I didn't watch What If.
I watched What If, thinking it would matter, but it doesn't really.
I watched one episode. Also, later on, the ray tracing for the PC version
that's right.
is coming out as well. This month, they put out the thing for May, and it's just a bunch of bullshit. It's a fucking rabbit suit.
The ducky gun,
gun, and
a rubber duck on it.
A bunch of elusive targets, and it's...
Is Harrison Ford an elusive target?
No.
Sorry, it says The Fugitive, so that's my first thought.
No Harrison Ford. Only Sean Bean, Gary Busey, and that one other guy.
Tim Daly?
No. The Gary Busey one had the other. There was another guy that hired you to kill Gary Busey.
Oh,
like another actor.
I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about. I forgot the actor's name.
Yeah.
The reason I said Tim Daly is he had the Fugitive television show.
Holy shit, we got to go fast. All right, Sonic time, everybody. Elden Ring sold 13.4 million copies.
Are you fucking serious?
Up from 12. 12 was the last time we talked about a month ago. Now it's up to 13.4 million copies.
My God, holy shit.
I want to just remind everybody that Dark Souls 3, the most popular game outside of Elden Ring, sold 10 million copies total.
In its lifetime.
Yeah, like over time. Elden Ring has been out for like 2 months.
Not a long time.
Like not a long
February.
time. Yeah.
It's like May. It's like 3 months at most.
Yes. So that is impressive.
That's fucking super impressive.
It is impressive. I'd be willing to bet that they might even be willing to make 3 DLCs. They're definitely going to be trying to do movie, comic, multimedia tie-in stuff to it. What I really want them to do is see if they can get
make Pogs
books. I want.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I actually really want James S.A. Corey, the writing duo that does the Expanse series, who are George R.R. Martin's personal assistants, to ghostwrite Elden Ring books based on George R.R. Martin's character Bible. I would actually like George R.R. Martin to write the books himself, but if anybody found out that he listened to me, they would be as mad as I was when Matt Frank said to me, Hideaki Anno needs to stop making those stupid robot movies and make more Godzilla movies. That hangs together. Just go think about it. You'll figure it out.
That's fair.
So, yeah. Also, in Elden Ring news, it turns out that Let Me Solo Her has now killed Millennia 1,000 times.
Oh, my God. Good for him.
He streamed it. They streamed it. It was pretty glorious. I mean, well, it was the achievement was glorious. Killing Millennia by yourself is not glorious. It's just a slog. You just memorize the pattern and then you just kill her. It's not a nail biter or anything.
No, really. Well, once you have it down, it's not. But
after you killed her 1,000 times, it better just be kind of like Tuesday. There was an interesting thing here, though, which was interesting, was the question of has this fucked up the multiplayer mode? Because some people have talked about how other people will now summon people and then think that they could just sit at the summon and let them solo the bosses because Let Me Solo Her did it. Well, that's the way it must work, right? And it's like, no, you have to fight with me.
You're supposed to be fighting with them, normally at least.
Like, if you summon somebody to fight a Souls boss, that boss gets twice as much health. And if you summon 2 people, it gets 3 times as much health.
Yeah.
So
the point is that it's
not exactly, but it does get buffed.
It's like Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter does the same thing. If you start a hunt with 2 people, it doubles its health.
Yeah.
If you start a hunt with 3 or 4 people, it like triples its health or something like that.
Yeah.
And then if they leave, it stays like that.
Yes.
Although I think they slowly started fixing that in Monster Hunter. People were kind of annoyed by that.
Speaking of monsters, I don't know what kind of fucking monster would do this, but some research group has built a VR headset that has a bunch of little ultrasonic things at the bottom that can shoot sound pulses at your mouth and face to make you feel like stuff that's happening in the game is happening to your face. And they show like, oh, raindrops, or like, oh, here's like the wind kind of going past it. But the first thing that they showed is, oh, here's a bunch of spiders that jump up, and now it's like the spiders are running across your lips. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, whatever the question that this is the answer to, my answer is no, motherfuckers.
I heard about this, and the actual device itself is very big.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, it's not that big. It just fits onto the bottom of a VR headset.
Oh, okay. They look big. That's because of the angle. The angle makes it look bigger.
Yeah, it's basically they glued it to the bottom of a Quest, and then it's put it at your mouth, and it can do kind of pulses and different things. It's really an interesting technology. Like this demo that they had has a thing where you can brush your teeth because it can also just hit your teeth.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, it can like literally pulse sound at your teeth to make it feel like your teeth are getting brushed.
That's fascinating.
And I'm like, okay, but why did you have to start with there's a spider on your face? Because I'm now going to be afraid to ever use such technology in the fear that there will be a spider on my face.
Yeah, that's something you don't want to do.
Yeah. Blech.
I love the way the spider flies at it too.
Yeah.
It's not like a jump, it literally flies at them.
Yeah. In other news, we got Michael's favorite game of all time, Duke Nukem Forever.
I've been following this very closely, people.
Got some leaked footage of an early build that came out.
It's not even footage. The actual build came out.
Yes, that's true. The build did come out. This is apparently, according to the people who have actually gotten it to run, which is very difficult, unfinished, just a whole, like, it's not an actual game. It's like early development prototyping.
It was a lot of it's the build. A lot of it is the build they used for the E3 presentation. In 2001.
Yes,
and a lot of people of what you can play are actually pretty impressed for what it was of the time.
Right,
because 2001. A lot of this stuff is really impressive. A lot of the interaction and stuff. Like it makes it more annoying how the development of this game went.
Right.
Because if this version came out, a lot of people were like, this would have been an instant classic of 2001.
Right.
From how it plays.
If it had been fully developed to completion.
Which, again, is a shame. And people have been fucking with it a lot. I saw a screenshot of what Duke looks like if you look at him in the mirror, since it's unfinished.
Yeah.
He doesn't have sunglasses, so he just has bright white eyes. He's kind of terrifying to look at. And so, and people started modding music into sections that don't have music. There's the motorcycle sequence, for instance, doesn't have any music. So somebody put the Megadeth song intro or theme song into it.
Oh, nice.
And so it makes it really badass. So it's just one of those things. It's like, man, this game could have been really fucking cool if they had just finished this version of it. But yeah,
possibly. There's also some drama there, but we ain't got time for that.
There's a whole video on what happened if you ever really want to find out what that looks like.
It's not what happened. No. Yeah, I'm thinking of something different. Yes.
There's a what happened.
I just cut the story because there's a new. If you want to know something interesting, go to what do you know gaming? What's that one channel?
Did you know?
Did you know gaming? Is
that what it is?
Did oh god damn it! Now I got to open it back up again. Did a thing this week about an interesting saga about Metal Gear Solid 5 players that tried to do nuclear disarmament over the pandemic. What you know?
Oh, this one.
What you know? Gaming.
I've never heard of that one.
Did you know gaming?
Oh, it was
Did you know gaming?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's a very interesting story. It turns out that like they did it, but they had to cheat because
I've
if you
seen that
get
video though. Yeah.
banned, then like your FOB is still present, but nobody can invade it,
Yeah.
so it can't ever be taken off the list. Anyway. Interesting
That's whole thing.
We don't have much time left, so let's go. Mario Strikers got a new video. We got some trailers here. Mario Strikers got a new 4-minute video that's showing some various things that'll happen. I'm really excited about Mario Strikers Battle League.
The Mario Strikers franchise has been, it's only been a couple of games, I think. I've actually been really fun.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really excited to see if this game lives up to how much fun I had with those.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot here that wasn't there before, and it's all in Japanese, to be honest. So
okay.
It's not exactly like, I mean, they kind of just show some of the mechanics of the game. I don't think it's a lot that much different than what we saw previously. But yeah, it's coming out in like June, I think.
It's good.
Still good stuff.
Maybe they'll get the FIFA license. Yeah. FIFA Strikers.
Mario. Oh no, they did show that one thing. Yeah, if you hang out behind your teammate and then hit them, you could like boost them up to
That's
do
fun.
Either like offensive or defensive moves, which is pretty cool. There's a few other things. Salt and Sacrifice got a launch trailer. This is did you know the sequel to Salt and Sanctuary is out like today?
I didn't know it was out. I remember you telling me it was going to come out at some point. I didn't realize it was that fast.
Yep. Coming out this week. Somebody in the Discord was like, are you going to play this? Then I looked it up and I was like, oh, holy shit. That is like this week.
Yeah, I did not know that.
In fact, I almost played it earlier this week, but I think you and I are going to play more of it next week because it's a big RPG and you don't get to do a lot of stuff. But
It'd be a good movie. Yeah.
I'm a little torn on this because like Ska Studios' art style is pretty much the same now as it was with Dishwasher Smile. It's a little different. It's a little different.
It's a little more polished, but even then, it's not. It still doesn't look like a game that came out this year.
Right.
If that makes sense.
So I don't know. And it's
if only it had a crab
that's
of some kind.
Some kind of crab. We got a launch trailer for Eiyuden Chronicles Rising. This is actually a game I didn't realize what this was. Did you know that Eiyuden Chronicles is being made by the guy that made Suikoden 1, 2, and 3?
No, I did not know
It was
that.
kickstarted, and it was like the third highest video game Kickstarter behind Bloodstained and Suikoden 3.
Huh.
It was shooting for $500,000, $500,000, and it ended up with like $4.3 million or something
shit.
like that. Part of that was that they were going to make a free prequel game, or a prequel game, not a free prequel game, but prequel game. And that's what this is. This is some of the characters from Eiyuden Chronicles, which is coming out at some point, I believe, either late this year or early next year, as a side-scrolling action game, whereas that other one's going to be like an RPG.
Yeah.
And so it's kind
this actually looks more interesting to me.
getting to know these characters. There's like a little village that you have to develop. It's got a kind of a nice side-scrolling art style to it, and this is actually on Game Pass as well. So if you have Game Pass and you want to give it a try,
When is it? Is it already out?
yeah, it's out. It came out like earlier this week.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
boom.
Good for them.
See, this is what I'm talking about with that fucking like. There's just so many games, man.
There's a lot of
There's
fucking
so many
games.
fucking games,
There's
man.
too many things coming out, guys.
We got a development diary for Deliver Us Mars, which looks really cool. This is the sequel to Deliver Us the Moon that came out a
okay.
few years back. We don't have a lot more time
Get your ass to Boz.
to talk about this, but it does look like they've kind of upped their game a little bit. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a puzzle action adventure type of thing. I'm definitely going to see about getting this somewhere onto Rage Select. We'll see how it goes.
Pretty exciting.
Yep. This is really funny. There was a game that came out from Wales Interactive called Made of Scare, Sker, that was like a puzzle walking simulator kind of horror style game. We had a trailer this week for a game called Scare Ritual that is, I don't know if it's in the same universe, but this game is a straight up first person shooter.
Holy shit.
From Wales Interactive. Like,
fuck?
like a Clive Barker's Undying, you're killing cultists and mowing down like weird monsters and hacking and blasting and slashing. I'm just like, oh, Oh, that's interesting. I kind of want to play that.
I would really like to play this.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of like I said, either Clive Barker's Undying, maybe a little bit of Clive Barker's Jericho, maybe a little bit of The Suffering. Like you don't see a lot of like straight up horror shooters.
Not really. It's actual horror shooter.
What was that one that you and I played though that had the weird 2D graphics? Remember?
Yeah, not even that long ago. It was
God, what the fuck was that called?
Forgive Me, Father?
Forgive Me, Father. Yeah.
Which I really liked.
Yep.
It was difficult.
And then our last trailer is for Lego Brawls. Has a release date for this summer. This actually is a game that was on phones, but they're porting it over to consoles. This is on a Nintendo Switch showcase at some point, I believe.
Yeah, we talked about it because we didn't know what it was.
It's Smash Brothers with little Lego minifigs. Is basically what it is.
Well, it could be fun though because Lego goes hard on their games.
Yeah,
it's kind of amazing.
So we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's kind of like Lego doesn't necessarily have the same, hey, it's this iconic character that you love thing that a lot of other
the Ninjago, I guess. That's about it.
Smash games have. So let's see. Another earnings call story. Speaking of Smash Brothers, Nintendo said that they are expecting Bayonetta 3 to launch this year because they put out their launch schedule. So Bayonetta 3 is still on the list, as is
good.
Splatoon, Mario Strikers Battle League, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet are all on deck to be released before the next year, which is March of 2023. Advance Wars 1 and 2 and Metroid Prime 4 are not on that schedule.
Poor Advance Wars, guys. Poor bastards.
So
just wanted to make war fun, guys.
Yep. In other very strange news, WWE apparently has signed a deal for a wrestling RPG.
That's interesting.
And it's not that one wrestling RPG that we saw before.
Yeah,
at E3.
that's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah, nothing new. This was from Stephanie McMahon talking about how like they're going to be looking at this RPG and also like maybe metaverse things with the WWE.
That's weird.
Nothing specific. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Maybe it'll be like those Mortal Kombat games.
Oh, maybe. One of the directors for Ghostwire Tokyo said that they're interested in making either DLC or sequels. If they do, I hope that they are more fun than Ghostwire Tokyo.
I was about to say, I forgot this game came out because everyone kind of just didn't talk about it.
It got really repetitive really quickly, and then it wasn't very fun to play. So,
that's what I heard about it. I heard it's real nice to look at, but that's about it.
The only thing about this that's kind of a bad or kind of a implication is if Tango Softworks spends their time doing DLC / a sequel for Ghostwire Tokyo, it means they'll probably not be making a new Evil Within game, which I would prefer. But
maybe a crossover. Who knows?
Speaking of crossovers, I got the crossover. We talked a lot about video games in this show, Michael. I got the crossover you never saw coming. Smite has added Slipknot.
What the fuck?
To Smite.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck Smite does this bullshit, but 3 of the characters in Smite have now skins of various characters / musicians from Slipknot.
What the fuck?
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's weird. Really weird.
That's I don't have any words.
The only thing
what the fuck?
The only thing I could think of is that, like, you know, Smite is losing players, and the only way that they can get them back is by doing dumb shit that then makes Jeff talk about Smite on the podcast.
Jesus Christ!
Because that was what other reason in 2022 could there be to put Slipknot in your video game?
They'll add Korn next.
Yep. All right.
Limp Bizkit.
Let's finish up with a couple fun things. The Queen's Golden Wii could be yours.
The what?
Okay, so apparently back in 2009, THQ gold-plated a Wii and sent it to Buckingham Palace along with a copy of their dumb Wii Sports ripoff game, Big Family Games.
Oh my god.
This was taken, examined, rejected and sent back to THQ, was never actually owned or played by the royal family.
Yeah.
When THQ was liquidated, it went to the hands of a private seller who is now selling it currently. The last time it was sold, I think it might have been sold a few times over the years, but the last time it was sold for $300,000 on eBay.
Jesus Christ.
It is currently up for bid for $3,000, but whether that's going to be whether that's going to go up, let's see. It's up to $4,750 now, but it is a fully gold-plated Wii with a copy of Big Family Games.
I like it comes with the game that it came with.
Yeah.
Complete package.
Yes. So, and I like the fact that it's like commissioned for Queen Elizabeth, but it didn't actually get there.
No.
So, also, it seems like a gold-plated Wii would be very heavy. And why would you want a gold-plated Wii controller, which would also be very heavy?
It'd be very
for
heavy.
a game that you have to do motion control. You're just going to break your TV. That's probably why the Queen didn't get it. She's not going to be able to lift up a fucking gold-plated Wii controller.
They thought it was an assassination attempt.
Yep.
It's going to break her arm.
All of my fun stuff are just completely unrelated. In other news, you remember the guys that made that Yakuza video of like
I've seen this video actually
walking down the street like they're in a Yakuza game? Well, they did the same thing with Grand Theft Auto. Put it out this week. This is like this kind of group of actors / dancers that they're really good at doing the thing where they run and then they run up against an invisible wall, and it makes it look like there's an
really
invisible
good
wall.
yeah.
Or the way that they awkwardly turn. I don't know if you saw this, but they also put out a full-on Resident Evil thing.
Oh, I did not see this one.
That's like 20 minutes of chapter 1, and it's like behind the back with them doing like Resident Evil, running awkwardly into walls while the camera pans around them. They're very talented. They're incredibly talented.
I love when people do shit like that, though.
This is
a lot of fun.
Komazawa Isolation is the name of the group, and I really recommend looking at their stuff because they really do get the kind of awkward, janky control thing down. And especially
camera angle change.
Yeah, with the camera angle change in Resident Evil is great. They're really good at it. And last but not least, speaking of being really good at stuff, we had one Elden Ring player who on stream beat Radon blindfolded,
which is fucking crazy.
Which I don't know. Like, of all the people, I think Radon. The most impressive part to me is him.
Was getting to him.
Yeah,
that's what I'm more shocked by.
Because he's got. If you listen to it, you can hear that there's a split second between when you hear the like twang of the bow and then when the projectile goes past you, where you can hit the roll button. Okay.
Yeah, he jumped at one point.
Okay.
Which is just, so to me, that is the most impressive part.
Yeah.
Like getting up on him, you could probably, I could see that being a lot easier, but yeah. That those bows are no joke.
And with that, we're going to be done because my dog has to go out really, really bad.
Yes.
He came up here to tell me this personally. Michael, quickly tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me on oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews. We are also working on doing another gathering very, very soon, as well as some more watch a movie with us. Chris is working on making more of those finally, now that people are able to go to places.
Yes.
So we are very, very excited to give even more content again that we haven't been able to do in a while.
Cool. And you know where we are because you're here listening to it right now. So cool. Thanks. Bye, I guess. I'm going to go. No, I'm just going to go walk my dog. I was going to try to think of something funny, but all I can think of is I'm just going to go walk my dog. So I'm going to do that. All right. Everybody say goodbye to my dog. Bye.